Welcome back to another episode of the Home Studio Hangout podcast. Today's a little different one. Say hi, Stevie. Today's a little different. This episode is a crossover episode with my good friend Nolan Smith. He has a podcast called Nolander with Nolander, and which is his username everywhere, Nolander. So go check him out. His band Heirloom just dropped a great full-length record called Romanticize, and we talk about that. We talk about, him getting into doing music and me working on their first EP, co-producing that with our friend Chris Davis from the Ghosted Side, and me mixing that as well. And then we also talk about the songwriting process for Romanticize, which I was a part of. I had the pleasure of writing 8 of the 10 songs with them. So that was really fun. We talk about that. His experience with working with Howard Benson in LA and recording vocals there, and talk about comedy because he does some stand up. So yeah, we kind of go all over the place. We kind of let this episode just run randomly and kind of, trail down rabbit holes so it's a little different episode for us on the Home Studio Hangout. It feels a little bit more like his podcast, but this episode is a crossover episode, so this podcast will be on both feeds. You should go check out No Landing with Nolander. And yeah, so let's get right into it. Roll the intro.
Welcome to the Home Studio Hangout podcast, where we explore what it's like building, running, and working out of a home studio with your hosts, Joshua Matotek, Andrew Simmons, and many guests in different areas of the music industry.
We rolling.
Hey, we rolling.
We out here.
Rolling.
What? Keep rolling. Yeah.
Dude, I was hoping that you would see my my boys in the background here.
Your fucking platinum record back there.
my veggie boys.
So good. How long has it been now since that remix thing has come out? That's been a few years now. That's
it's been like 4 years or something.
Okay,
like
I was
gonna
say,
it was like
that was
2018.
It was pre-pandemic for sure.
Yeah. It was like 2018. Me and Shama were talking about this the other day. Actually, we got lunch and with a friend, a mutual friend of ours that was in town doing some writing, and I was like, bro, have you ever thought about the fact that like our actual careers were just started because we made a meme?
Isn't that crazy?
100%. Just we made a meme and now we have like audio and video careers. So
yeah, and now you're like, wait a minute, how did I get here? Just because like I like VeggieTales and I just wanted to make something funny, and then the internet loved it, and then you have VeggieTales people themselves hit you up and all this crazy stuff.
Then we did a show. That was fun. We shot a show, like a whole ass like actual TV series. Like I think it was like multiple episodes. It was crazy.
Literally all from just being like, yeah, this is funny.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so weird how that works, because like that's kind of how, I mean, we didn't get a show or anything from it, but whenever I first downloaded TikTok for the band back in like 2020, the
Arby's thing,
the very first video I ever uploaded, it was just a Snapchat video on my phone from like 2019, and then I was like, I'll just put this up here, and then
this is funny.
Yeah, and then it got 1 million views, and at one point, somebody from like, what's that show? It's like Rob Deerdeck.
Oh yeah.
Somebody, like one of his people, reached out and was like, can we put this on the show? And then like we were talking to them, and then like they just kind of like left us on red or whatever. But it was just weird. They were like, this is crazy. Like we had like a bunch of random creators and stuff just like reach out for a minute, and then we had a bunch of people that were like, you need to make merch with this, and we were like, yeah, let's do it. And then we just never ever got around to it. But
hey man, that's called existing.
Exactly. Yeah, that's called ADHD. Just like I'll do that, and then
I'll do that.
4 years goes by.
5 years later.
Yeah, exactly.
SpongeBob voice.
Still sitting on the couch, just like hitting my vape, just doing the
same
thing.
Dude.
Yeah, dude. Totally. I don't know why that reminded me. You were the only person that the show we played at Ground Zero when they had the fog machines, and then I took my vape out of my pocket.
Bro.
And you were like the only one that I was like, yes,
That was
he saw
so
it.
funny. It was so funny, dude. The last thing I expected you to do was fog machines mid scream, stop and pop out a vape and just add to the
just,
noise
like,
of fog.
add to it.
Yeah.
It was so like,
Bro,
I think I was just so
mid-set.
sleep deprived. I was like, whatever, this is happening.
Yeah, because that was like last or second to last show
That
of
was
that run, right?
The last one, yeah.
Of that run with Discoveries, yeah.
Yep, yeah. Me and Jeffy talked about that too, and which you can go hear on my podcast. But we were talking about just how fun that tour was, and how neither of us really slept probably during the day at all. It was at night. I'm sorry. I probably got most of my sleep from like 7 a.m. to like noon or something like that. That whole little week and a half there, but it was really fun. And we definitely had the since it was like our first like real like tour, even though it was a little run, but first with another band. Jeffy was tour managing and whatnot.
More proper thing, especially.
Right. We had that moment where the night we were used to meeting up every night. All right, guys, where are we driving next? And then that night, it was the last night, and we were like, everyone was like crying, and like it was like the
it's a little sad
end of summer camp kind of thing, and we were like, oh wait, I won't see you tomorrow kind of thing, and
I probably won't see you for like months.
Exactly.
And I've seen you every single day. Yeah.
Yeah, like we've sat in the same vehicle, or we've stood in the same spot for like a week and a half or whatever, and that's just a week and a half. I can't imagine like going on tour for over a month, and then all right, guys, I'll see you later, and like it doesn't hit you until that last day when you actually are going home. You're like, oh wow, like I have a good
it's
like
unfortunate
bond friendship with these guys too. But that was a lot of fun.
Even when we went to so I was filling in with Death Therapy, and we went to Germany to play a festival there, and we did that for like, I want to say that was like 4 or 5 days, so it was about a week, but for just that one thing, because it was travel, and then the first day of the festival, and then the second day of the festival, and then another travel day, and travel days were like 10-hour flights,
right.
And then I think I ended up staying an extra day in Atlanta when we landed. But even then, I was like, man, I'm so used to hanging out with you guys all the time. This is really sad. This is really sad.
I think anything where you're traveling different time zones with someone, you automatically form a bond. And then like even when we went to the studio in California and then came back, and then like we have the respective thing where it's like, all right, we've all been around each other. Let's not, nobody talk to each other for a week kind of thing. Just, that's just kind of the unspoken thing. But we still had these like, man, I'm going to miss, that red eye flight with you, just all this random little stuff that may have been annoying in the moment. Like, I'm going to miss getting that canceled flight with you and sitting at the gate for 12 hours or whatever.
Did you guys get a canceled flight on the way back?
No, we didn't. But we just, I don't think we had a delay. We just traveled. It was like a red eye thing. So it was just we were all tired. And
I was going to say, so I went to the Ghost Inside comeback show in Los Angeles.
Like the first one they came back with?
Yeah, when they came back. Because I was already on the road with Death Therapy. It was in that same like 2019 year of me just traveling a lot and touring and stuff with them a lot. And I was already in, what was it? I was in Wisconsin. I had just finished the last festival of like a run of festivals that we had done for like 2 or 3 weeks. And Chris had been texting me and was like, hey man, super stoked on this comeback show. I had known about it for a really long time. And he was like, you got a ticket if you're there. And I was like, all right, so I got to figure out how to get all the way halfway across the country, because I was already halfway there, so might as well go.
You might as well go.
Might as well go. So I booked a last minute plane ticket from Milwaukee to LA, and that was pretty straightforward. But then when I was flying back, somehow we were in LA, and or it really was just me, because I say I was there with my buddy Danny, but I was by myself whenever I was flying back, because I was just
Just doing doing a side
my
quest.
thing. Yeah, literally just a little side quest.
Yeah.
And the announcer was like, I don't remember exactly how it was said, but it essentially boiled down to flight this number. We no longer have pilots.
No. What?
Yeah.
They just quit? Like, what happened?
There were just no pilots there for our flight for some reason.
Does anybody know how to fly a plane, man? We don't know.
Exactly.
Can somebody help us out?
I don't know what happened. But yeah, they were like, yeah, there's just no there's no pilots. And that's what the receptionist, she was like, I don't know what's going on either. She was terrified. She had no idea.
I bet.
I mean, there were a lot of people. It was a big plane because it was a big flight.
Yeah, and it's going to LA, which is like a lot of people were flying on that.
It was LA. It was LA to Atlanta.
LA to Atlanta. Okay.
It was.
But still, Atlanta is like what, the busiest
huge.
airport in the U.S. or something?
Yeah, exactly. So. And like LA's second busiest. So.
Right. Yeah. So it's a lot of people. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. So crap ton of people. People were freaking out, and yeah, it was great. So we slept in an airport for like 8 hours. And then got up the next day and
you just became that one movie, The Terminal or whatever.
Yeah, that Tom Hanks movie, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Tom Hanks, yeah. Good pull. Yeah, no, it was that. I don't know. We were there for it wasn't 8 hours. It was probably like 4 or 5 hours, but still,
it feels like forever.
Felt like forever. Well, and the problem was it screwed up my entire system because I had people like ready to pick me up in Atlanta because I still had
a certain time.
I had to get in my car, and then after I got into my car, I had to drive another 2 hours home. So,
and then so you had to coordinate with like people that's like, actually, I'm coming back at this time. Actually, just kidding.
Well, then it screwed up, and then I ended up having to pay an Uber to drive me like from Atlanta airport to from Hartsfield Jackson to like North Georgia. And it was like an $80 Uber.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was rough.
Are you doing like 50, 100 miles or something? Or how, I don't even know what the.
Yeah, I don't even know. It was a lot. It was a lot. It was I don't even know how to explain it to you because I don't know how much you know about Georgia as far as like where it's at. But it was in this like small. I basically drove halfway between downtown Atlanta and South Carolina. I had an Uber take me that far.
But was it worth it?
I mean, I got home, so
yeah. Was it worth it for the experience though? The show.
I mean, the show was super worth it. The pilot not showing up, I was a little pissed about, but you know.
So what?
It was what it was.
Were they eventually just like, yeah, never mind. He showed up. He's here.
No, he just never showed up. They just got us a different flight.
Okay. They just completely were just like, all right.
Yeah. They were like, yeah, we just don't. Yeah, we'll just get you guys on a different plane, but it can't leave until tomorrow because I think it was somebody that was coming back from a different flight, like flying into LA.
Oh, okay.
And then like, leaving again. Yeah. So that's normally how that works. Yeah, it's normally how that works. They leave, they drop people off at one and then pick people up and then go to another place. It's like a bus.
Right.
So
that's got to be so crazy to like, I don't know, just work that kind of like as a pilot or as a flight attendant or anything where you're just constantly like flying back and forth like that. Like it seems fun in theory because you're like, I get to travel, but I don't know, man. I don't know if I could deal with like the people like if like I have a lot of respect for like flight attendants and people that do that because like
same.
Dude, the general public sucks. Like working in customer service and stuff for so long, like
especially the general public that also flies.
Yeah, and
those specific kind of people that
they
have fly a lot,
like itinerary in their head. That's like I always go to Florida in the winter. Like, yeah, you're gonna mess up my plans. Like when I worked at a call center a few years ago. I could probably just say it, ETIX. But we a lot of our things that we would do is we would book out like the train rides, like the Polar Express train rides across the country, and people would book these like I mean it would be like November, December when it would happen, but booking would open like in the summer, like May, June or whatever.
Yeah, because that junk would fill up fast, I'm sure.
Very much so. And then so people would wait until it was like past sold out and then call like in November, like Thanksgiving week, and be like, I need a family of 8 for this thing, and I'd be like, we don't have that, and they'd be like, you ruined my blah 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 birthday party. This person, da, da, da. Like, it's all your fault. And I'm like, man, you got to have thick skin to work, because like I the amount of times, you know, you just want to like drop the act and just be like, look, motherfucker, you know what I mean? Like, it's not my fault. I'm a human being, you know what I mean? Like, and I know you've worked in a lot of, you know, like, I'm sure like barista stuff or whatever like that too.
Honestly, though, coffee people are pretty chill. Starbucks was worse.
I was gonna say Starbucks. I worked at Starbucks for like 2 weeks in like 2014, and
Starbucks was worse. But I only did that for like a little bit. My longer coffee, whenever I like got into coffee, when like doing the nice shop and stuff, working at a third wave shop,
those people are cool.
Those people were generally pretty chill. I mean, it's kind of amazing that they're that chill for paying like $6 for a coffee, but whatever.
And it's one of those like, oh, I haven't had my coffee yet, don't talk to me. But it's like, I'm not gonna yell at you. It's fine.
Exactly. Most of the time we have a limited menu, so there's not a lot to screw up.
Okay.
Most people don't know the difference if you do screw up. So if you did like slightly too much milk,
extra shot of this,
they're not going to know most of the time. I mean, they might know if it's an extra shot, but most of the time they don't care, because they're like, cool. Oh, free coffee.
Yeah. Free coffee and everything.
Yeah. They don't care. And I don't know. Especially the shop that we were at was like really, really chill. We had a bunch of runners, and people that would like stop in for business meetings. The mayor of Greenville would come in a lot, and he was like really chill.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was really nice. A lot of business meetings would happen. It's really funny. There was actually a podcast that would do their podcast in our coffee shop in like a corner, which is actually pretty sick.
I was gonna say,
think about it.
That's chill. Like that's a good vibe.
Yeah, you know what I mean? That's pretty sick.
If you're going like, hey, where do we want to do our podcast? Let's go here. Okay. Well, that environment must be solid.
Yeah, she like really, I think she really focused on like women in business. I can't remember the name of the podcast, but like the podcast was focused on women in business, like small businesses in like South Carolina. Mm-hmm. And she liked having the noise of the coffee shop like
as like actual like as like white noise kind of stuff. Like that's cool.
She said she was
noise,
like,
but I know what you mean.
Yeah, just like the background ambiance of like a coffee shop, and just like steam happening, and people just generally kind of talking about stuff, and
like footsteps and just all the little ambiance and stuff.
Exactly. So all that stuff happened, and I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool take. I like that. That's a really cool idea, actually. It's not my thing, but I can dig it. You know what I mean?
I respect it.
Yeah. So but it was pretty low key. So it wasn't really anything like, I rarely had people. COVID was when it got kind of bad, but
everyone's freaking out.
You know, everyone was, and it was more of the people being like, I could refuse service if they weren't wearing a mask. And
gotcha.
And it was those people that always like, when I asked them to put on a mask like one too many times, they snap back at me, and I was like, hey man, listen, I don't get paid enough to deal with you. I just work here. I'm not the manager. I don't own this place. Like, I'm just here to make your coffee. If you want to step 5 foot back, that's fine. You don't got to put it on. But listen, I'm just trying to do everybody else here a favor. Nobody wants to smell your stank breath. You can get out if you're gonna be like
fuck
that.
COVID. It's just like, don't breathe in my face. Like,
but also just don't be an asshole, right?
Don't be an asshole. Like if you're going into it, that's the whole thing. It's just like, dude, just like I'll wear a like welding mask. Like, can I still get my coffee? You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. It's not even like about the whole mask thing. It's about like the respect of the person. You know? Yeah. And it's like, we're a privately owned business. We're a small business. Like, we're trying to stay open, man.
You can't afford to.
City could crack if I had a city employee here that like could crack down on that stuff, and they see me allow you, like, bro,
you're shut down.
We could get in some big trouble. So they could not comprehend that.
Yeah. I almost while you were mentioning the mask stuff, I was like, oh yeah, that was a thing. Like,
it was a thing, right?
Like, it was so weird. I almost forgot. Like, I was we
were literally in Baltimore.
I was gonna say, we were in
Maryland.
like in it when it was like like, hey, you better be wearing a mask when you go to these places and stuff. So
let's say shout out to Chris Davis for housing us
big shout out,
mid
yes,
COVID and being okay
the
with
best
us.
hospitality.
Like, I know.
I remember it'd be like,
super pregnant wife for dealing with us and stuff.
Yeah, because it would be like, hey man, I gotta go like use the bathroom. Okay, do you gotta pee or poop? I gotta pee. Okay, go to this bathroom and wear make sure you wear a mask. Okay, I gotta poop. All right, well, hang on, give me 5 minutes. Okay, you can go in now.
Yeah.
So it was very safe, very big shout out there.
Shout out to Chris for only taking care of his family, but also taking care of us while we were there. So
yeah, exactly. And just insane multitasking and not crumbling under all the stress of like pregnant wife, family stuff, and also dealing with a bunch of ADHD musicians who are like playing memes on their phone and just being crazy gremlins,
making fart jokes.
Yeah, and just being stupid and being artists and stuff. And I remember I'd have times where, because that was our first time, like, oh, this is a real guy, man. Like, oh my God, we're in the presence of some royalty here. And I would have moments where, like, vocally I was struggling and I was beating myself up and all this kind of stuff. And he was like, oh, Vigil's the same way, or JT's the same way. Your vocalists are all the same. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I'm not just like throwing a hissy fit over here. Yeah. Like, okay, I'm playing the role correctly. If anything, this is more reinforcing and everything.
Yeah. If anything, I'm doing it more correct.
Yeah. Thank you, by the way, for validating this, Mr. Davis.
Yeah. Shout out to Davis, man.
That was awesome. Dude. Yeah, that was on Heirloom's EP, The Furthest Corners, which is available on Spotify. Has been for 2 years, but
I had the pleasure of mixing that one unexpectedly.
Sure yep.
Unexpectedly.
And you added all the cool
effects. And co-wrote some stuff with you guys too.
For sure.
Which has like been my general role.
You've
with
been
you guys.
Like a fifth member of Heirloom basically now for like 3 years almost, or maybe even more.
Maybe pre-COVID, I guess.
Yeah,
at that
pretty much,
point.
because you were the reason, for everyone listening who is a fan of Heirloom, Andrew Simmons is the reason why we kind of went from here to here, a little step up,
elevation, yeah.
Because our bands Heirloom and Harm are playing a show together in November of 2019 at the New Brooklyn Tavern in Columbia, South Carolina, and we were playing. It was like Heirloom. This is not the bill order. I'm just kind of remember. It was like Heirloom, Harm, Never I. And like I think Limbs was like the headliner, and then the day
but Limbs didn't show up.
Yep, Limbs had like a trailer issue or something, and they didn't show up. So we were like halfway down, and then Carlin, the promoter at NBT, he
booked an acoustic girl, Jody, or whatever.
Last second, I think it was like Jody Johnson or something. She was great.
She ruled.
She was like Billie Eilish with an acoustic guitar kind of vibe. Like it was super sick, awesome. Like very powerful voice. But yeah, so on the way to the show, Carlin was like, hey, Limbs just dropped off. If you guys want to cancel, I get it. But if not, we can just do like an all local thing. And we were like, we're already halfway there, so whatever. And then on the way there, we get there and everything, we set up. And that was our first time ever playing what would now be Heart and Spine. At that time, it was just like, hey, here's a new demo we have. And then Mr. Simmons here got his camera phone and he took a little Snapchat or something. And
it's a video.
A little video, a little TikTok, a little Snapchat, a little Vine.
Yeah.
He took a video and he sent it to Chris Davis, who plays in The Ghost Inside, played in Texas in July, and is a producer of bands. And then I remember you came up to me after our set and we're like, yeah, dude, I saw you guys play that new song. I sent it to my buddy Chris Davis, and I was like, Chris Davis, that's weird, isn't that's the same name as the guy that plays in
The Ghost Inside? That's crazy.
And you were like, that's crazy. That's actually the person that I sent it to. And I was like, damn, that's
guy.
crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it was like, we'll see if like maybe he wants to record your band or something. I'll be like, whoa, what the heck? Because at the time we were just recording with like some local producer people, just trying to get our foot in and everything. And we had never really like expanded outside of just like the local scene, quote unquote, the tri-state area and everything. And then lo and behold, you hooked it up, and one thing led to another. And
I had seen you guys play before your first show, actually. Harm played your first show.
Yeah. Oh my God. Cause it was Dylan McKay's, shout out Dylan McKay, Blind Path Booking, and like 500,000 bands that he's in. It was his
Discovery's also
birthday.
played that show.
Yep, Discovery's played.
It's funny that I ended up mixing both of you guys.
Yeah, dude, like everything's full circle. Like you ended up
Yeah, I
mixing
know.
both of us like 3-4 years later. Like
Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
that's insane. But yeah,
No, it was. Chris was an interesting thing. So I don't think I ever told you guys how I met him.
no, I don't. Yeah, this will be a first for me.
So Chris Bowman, you remember Chris Bowman?
Yes, know him.
Me and Chris Bowman became friends through the internet, the way you do,
As you do, yeah.
as you do. Whenever you're doing audio and like producing and mixing bands, like you tend to get comfortable with just being like, "Yo, dude, I heard something that you did that was really sick. Let's be friends."
Right.
You know,
And you're playing
like,
a lot of like groups and stuff together and
exactly,
a lot
and
of
he
mutual
was
friends.
exactly, and so I was like, "Hey, I've never been to a NAMM before, and I don't have the money to go to the LA one or the Anaheim one, but I can go to the Nashville one. There's a summer NAMM in Nashville."
Mhm.
And he was like, "Yeah, dude, do you want to go with me? I was going to go and we could split the cost of an Airbnb. And we could just go hang out." I was like, "Yeah, dude, that's cool." And so we went, and Chris Bowman was like, "Yeah, dude, I'm friends with this dude named Brian Hood, who, if you know who Brian is, he is also a mix engineer.
He did like, was he in My Children, My Bride?
He was the drummer of My Children, My Bride for the first record.
Okay.
And then, but he also did like the first 2 Era records.
Yeah. Okay.
And like his claim to fame for me personally is the second My Children, My Bride record.
Okay.
Or
Was that
sorry, not My Children, My Bride. The second oh God.
Gideon?
He also did Gideon. He did the first 2 Gideon records, I think.
Okay.
The one with the bird on it and the one with like the weird gargoyle thing and the
Milestone, I think is what it's called, maybe.
I love that record so much.
Yeah.
He did The Devil's Hands Have Been Busy.
Plea for Purging.
Plea for Purging.
Yes.
He
Oh
did
my
that.
God.
He did that record, Marriage to Heaven
Classic.
and Hell.
Okay.
That was how I knew him, was from that stuff.
Right.
A lot of face down bands. He ended up doing a lot of face down and a lot of like those like smaller genty bands.
Mm-hmm. They were kind of like early 2010s.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." I've been meaning to meet him for a while. Him and Bowman were Call of Duty buddies.
Okay.
They've been playing Call of Duty for a hot minute together. And so we went and got lunch. He was like, "Yeah, he's going to take us to lunch." I was like, "Sick." And he's like, he's going to bring a friend. His friend ended up being Chris Davis.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so I met Chris Davis over brunch in Nashville with me, Chris Bowman, Brian Hood, and Chris Davis all sitting around a circle together, just talking business, talking shop. It was really weird.
Like
and then,
halfway through like brunch, when it like kicks you, you're like, "Damn, this is crazy." You kind of look
yeah,
around. Like,
it was
"Oh,
wild.
I'm actually here."
Yeah, it was wild. So we did that, and then Brian had to go do some stuff. Well, Brian took us to his spot and like showed us his apartment and stuff. This is before he was married, and then Brian had to go do some stuff. So the 3 of us, the 2 Chris's and me, just like hung out and got dinner and stuff the rest of the day, and like we all just really, really hit it off.
More
like,
side quests.
Yeah, so like since then, like Bowman's done work with TGI. He's run monitors for them some on some shows, and by proxy has been able to do some stuff with like Under Oath because of that more recent stuff. And then
Which is so sick.
Yeah, which is super sick. And then like I got to connect. I knew Chris was really good at like a certain type of heavy music, and I was like, I'm not amazing at that. Producing wise, I can mix it, but like producing wise, it's not my forte. But I would love to connect bands that I know with Chris, and you guys were basically the first trial run at that.
That's insane timing, man. Like, can you imagine if we just were like, no, we'll drop the show.
So straight up, it was like, I think because I wasn't there for Heart and Spine. It was 2018, I want to say, when I did all that stuff with you guys. Whenever I sent him and you guys did Heart and Spine and all that kind of stuff. Because
that was 2019, and then
Heart
and Spine came out in 2020. like over COVID.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But I'm saying I sent all of that stuff happened 2018, like me meeting Chris. And
meeting.
all
Okay. Okay.
And then we played that show like either
year,
not even like either late 2018 or early 2019, and then you guys went and did all that, and then it came out like in 2020, which is crazy that it happened that fast.
It was just literally one thing led to another kind of thing.
Yeah, it's wild. So, but even also since then, like I've been able to do the Ghost Insides basically since they've come back. I've done a lot of their live stuff. So I make all of their intros, all their transitions, all of their like song transitions between
gig,
songs.
Man.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so right now, like it's really cool. Every single thing that isn't a song that is being played on their current run with Under Oath is my music, which is pretty cool.
Did you see that show live?
No, I didn't get to go see it.
Okay,
it was my birthday weekend when they were in Atlanta.
So gotcha.
I was doing family stuff that weekend, unfortunately.
Your stuff sounded great from what from being a concert attendee at that show.
Yeah, that thing with the dude walking towards the mountain and all that.
Oh, was that like the effects?
Yeah.
So
like there was a dude. There was like they had like a bunch of like, I don't know what they ended up using, but they had like a dude on like the LED screen. They had like content playing, and some of the stuff that I made had to match up with another dude, Cameron's like visuals. So I essentially scored his visuals for their shows.
Oh, okay, that's sick. Yeah, it all just like I remember them and Under Oath both had some like LED visual stuff, and it was just really seamless. Where we were standing, we were kind of on the side. Like between the bars, so I couldn't even like for Under Oath set, I couldn't even like see Chris Dudley because he was just like standing over here. So, but I mean, they sounded fantastic. You know, like Ghost Inside was super heavy. We Came as Romans, Better Lovers. Like it was solid. Yeah. I don't know. Are they still on that run right now?
I think they're finishing it up like this week.
Yeah.
I want to say they may be done now. I think this weekend might have been their last like set of shows. Whoops.
I saw it in Myrtle Beach. Kevin was there, Nikki was there, and then a couple other friends. Yeah,
that's sick. Did you get to say what's up to Davis while you were there? I know. I think
I didn't.
Kevin did.
I texted him and like the day before or something like that, and then the night of, you tag him in Instagram story and that kind of thing. He was like, "Oh, you should have said hey," and I was like, like I wanted to, but I didn't want to be like. I always feel like, even though I know you, I don't want to be like
that guy
annoying. If you're like the way I see
it, the way I see it, and this is how you can probably feel less annoying about it. He is legitimately a good friend at this point.
Right.
You've spent weeks of your life with that man
in his garage,
in his literal garage, yelling at each other about dick jokes. He is a friend now.
Right.
When else are you going to see him in person?
Yeah. See, like that's a really good way to put it. But I guess I was thinking like, oh well, like he's trying to load out. You know what I mean? Like,
he doesn't care. He wants to see you.
Yeah.
Because I'm the same exact way, right? It's like I wouldn't want to see like a rando, but like if it's a friend of mine, 100%. I'll, even if it's loadout, like I'll make sure everything gets done. And
I guess for me, I'm still like, my brain still thinks that I'm like the 16-year-old kid that's like, oh my God. Like whenever we played Blue Ridge and you were on you were a member of the band for that. You were on stage
literally
with us.
Standing on stage.
You were literally on stage with us, but we all had our artist passes, like full access. It doesn't say we're a local, but it just artist pass.
Yeah, it was full access.
And I remember we were backstage literally, and I saw like Miss May I walk by, and I was like, oh, I should go like say hey to Levi. And then I was like, oh well, I don't want to be weird. But then I was like, I have an artist pass. Like I could totally say hey. And then like Jim from the Ghost Inside like walked up to our van and was like, hey, are you guys Heirloom? And I was like, are you Jim from the Ghost Inside? Like verbatim. And he was like, yeah. And then we just like talked for a second.
And
I was like, man, it's so weird because I'm
Daddy Jim.
Dude. What a guy. What a good looking man.
I know.
Point being, I'm still stuck in like the music fan boy. Like I'm not a Punisher at all. I'm not a Punisher, but I'm still
not
like
used to like being.
I'm not used to being in the leagues. You know what I mean? I'm not used to playing ball on the same team.
You gotta get over that, Nolan. Like you're moving on up, baby.
I know, man. Like even with like Howard and Neil, I'm like, am I like bothering you?
I will say, I will say, Howard and Neil is a very different scenario.
Yeah,
I would say that. But like Chris is like the buddy, right?
But Chris is like, Chris is a dude, and like even like I don't know, just any of my friends that are working, like whether it be you or Jeffy or anybody that's like, oh, they're like working, I don't want to bother them. You know what I mean? Like that's just it's so hard for me to get over that.
I'll always go say what's up.
Yeah. And like I'll text him at least and be like, hey man, you killed it tonight. Like didn't get a chance to say hey, but you killed it. But like House of Blues, I'm like, where do I even go? You know what I mean? Like where do I walk to so that like the Live Nation
Kevin had Pit Pass, I think. He got photo.
Yeah. So he's good.
He was everywhere.
Kevin
he told
also,
me he got to hang out with everybody and say what's up, and him and Chris got to like powwow for a bit.
That's so dope. Well, it's like at least we have that, you know what I mean, like that extension over there. And Kevin always loves just making the moves to be able to do that because like during We Came as Romans set, the tour manager like grabbed him, and I'm used to like, oh, are you gonna be like tour manager like, hey kid, get out of the way? But no, he was like, hey, follow Andy, the bass player. He's about to go do some cool shit. And Kevin was like, okay. And then Andy like climbed up on the balcony and like was doing some insane stuff, and I was just like, oh yeah, like you're saying, you're getting out. It's like, no, I work here.
yeah. This is just like another day at the office.
Yeah, we're literally we're at the office and stuff. So I think as long as you're not like I think I was listening to like Garza podcast. Have you listened to his at all?
Mm-hmm.
It's the guitar player of Suicide Silence, Chris Garza, but he interviews a lot of bands and stuff. And he was having some band on the other day, and they were talking about like meeting people at shows, and he was like, yeah, just everybody's cool, just like don't be a Punisher. But like to be a Punisher is like following somebody into the bathroom or something, like, hey, what's up, dude? You know what I mean? Like
don't be weird,
being weird. You know what I mean? Like I think as long as you're friendly, just whatever. But
for sure, just don't be weird about it. Well, and also, I mean, this is not advice. This is just what I do. If you just act like you're supposed to be there, most people don't care.
The confidence aspect.
It's a confidence thing. Like, so I've straight up just like walked backstage with no pass or anything and just like gone. Because I've been like, what's up, bro? And just kept walking.
Yeah. Like, hey.
And then I look at somebody and wave. And then I'd probably know them, but also I don't. But he doesn't know that. So
you need to do the thing, Mr. Mike, Nikki's dad. He and I came up with a bit where it's like you walk backstage and they're like, let me see your pass, and you have just like hundreds of lanyards, and you're like, hang on, let me
Which
find
one?
it, and they're all like 1979, 1980, like they don't even match up, and you finally like the one you need is like right here in your front pocket or something.
Yeah. The people do that all the time. People will like have all their passes and be like, which one?
Just like, what do you
and
need?
They're like, whatever. Okay. Yeah.
Or you could always do the just wear a black shirt that says staff on it and then just walk in.
I don't recommend that because
don't do this. Don't do this.
Don't do any of this. Is not.
This is not advice.
This is things that we would probably try.
Yeah. I'll do it. I'll get arrested, not you. Don't do it.
Yeah, don't do that. This is not advice. But yes, if you walk confidently and people don't care.
Point being, fake it till you make it. It just like
100%.
Act like you're supposed to be there. Like for example, Kevin he didn't grow up an Under Oath fan. So whenever Spencer Chamberlain was DJing at Emo Night,
we played that show too.
He was like the only person that wasn't like, Define the Great Line is my favorite album.
Bro,
like,
Harm is like just Under Oath again.
Right. And so Kevin straight up, he went to him, he's like, I'm gonna be honest with you, man, I've never really cared about your band. And then like Spencer was like, hell yeah, bro. Like Spencer was like relieved.
Yeah. Hey man, no shade or anything, but I could care less about your music.
Yeah. That's how it was when we went to record with Chris, and we were all like, oh dude, you got the new Ghost Inside album, like before it dropped. And then Austin's just like, yeah, I mean, I don't really listen to that.
And Chris and Austin are like homies too. They love each other, bro.
Yes.
They like love each other.
It's almost like you can kind of, it's like a disarming tactic. Like if I walked up to like Aaron Gillespie or somebody and I was just like, Yeah, I've never really listened to Under Oath. I mean, I'd be lying, but it would probably break down a barrier because these people are probably just so used to since the year 2006, just being swarmed with people that look like me, wearing the same exact clothes, and that are just like, you saved my life, and I can it's cool, but I can only imagine that being told that all the time, you need therapy obviously for
probably
the bad
like
stuff, but
2 to 3 times a day for
and
23 years. Yeah.
I would need therapy for hey man, all these people are coming up to me telling me that my music kept them from, killing themselves or something like that. So it's
I'm dealing with all my mental stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's you're such a hero. You're my, and I'm like, I'm a guy with anxiety or whatever.
Yeah. I'm just a dude that hits drums, my guy.
Yeah. I'm just a guy. I have to, use the bathroom the same way that you have to. I have to eat. I have to do all this kind of drink water and everything. So
it's very funny. I'll get recognized for harm sometimes. Just, whatever. Harm does enough numbers at this point, to get recognized.
Mm-hmm.
But I get more recognized from the VeggieTales thing, and I find that hilarious because the thing is, if somebody recognizes me from that, I know exactly the type of person they are.
You're like, all right, what church do you go to?
I was like, yo, how long were you homeschooled, dog?
Yeah. What year did you get out of homeschool?
Yeah. Did you graduate homeschool or what? Yeah.
That's so good. Because a lot of people, I think Nikki, she didn't even know that VeggieTales was a Christian show. She was I thought it was just a kid's show, and I was like, oh yeah, you were raised in the South, but not the South.
You're not the South.
Yeah,
I mean that might be kind of South, right? That's so South that the Christianity undertones got wiped away from it. The problem is, it's not even Christianity undertones. It's just it's overt Christianity.
Very obvious. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's these vegetables are talking to me about Jesus right now.
Yeah. Hey, man.
I love it.
Larry and Bob both said that our song was dope. So
the real Larry and Bob themselves.
Yeah.
VeggieTales taught me not to lie. You know what I mean? When I was a kid, bro. And I saw the fib. Yeah. And then
bro.
The rumor weed and then all this other stuff. I was like, I don't want to do that.
Hey guys, I know this is niche content. We'll get back to broader stuff in a minute.
We'll get back to music in a second.
Let us nerd
now.
real quick.
Come on now.
Exactly.
We're talking about being human. Let's do it.
Exactly. Being human as it pertains to fake alive vegetables with no souls.
They're real, man. They're real. They're real to me.
They're standing right there staring at you, man.
They're staring at you. And throughout the podcast, they move and look at each other and stuff.
Them and Chopper. I have I don't know. You're not really an anime guy, are you?
No.
I know that's not really your speed. That's more Kevin and Austin's speed.
Yeah, the only anime that I ever got into was Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon, but nothing. I never got deep into Dragon Ball.
This is from One Piece.
Yeah, One Piece.
The one about pirates.
I have a video game which you've seen me play.
Oh yeah, dude, I love that game. Freaking
Jump Force.
Jump Force, yeah.
Yeah, it's got all the Shonen Jump characters in it. So I guess it's got One Piece and some Dragon Ball and some other stuff too. And so I've seen
that one dude that won't hit women that doesn't fight. His name's Sanji. He uses his legs all the time.
Okay,
he's the blonde dude, and he won't hit. If he's fighting against a female character, he won't hit her.
Oh wow, okay.
Because that's his character in the anime. It's he just doesn't fight women.
I love getting while I'm playing that game, and it's so fast paced, so fast moving, and flashing lights and all this stuff. You have a team of 3 people. Hearing you and Austin and Kevin just being oh yeah, that guy did this. But then Kevin a lot of times would be watching the current anime and the game would have spoilers.
Oh no.
And then Kevin was like, wait, what? And then Austin was like, oh yeah, that happens.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah. This is this little reindeer guy. His name is Tony Chopper.
Okay.
And he eats something. So in One Piece, they have devil fruits, and the devil fruits give them special powers. So that's how Luffy has his
the
stretchability.
Yeah.
Okay. So he, as a reindeer, Chopper ate a human fruit, and it made him half human, half
Reindeer?
human, half reindeer. Yeah.
Oh wow.
So he's a walking, talking reindeer, but he is the ship's doctor.
Who is?
It-
Is
it's
it
so
One
cute.
Is it One Piece that has the like giant like pirate guy?
They're
like
all
Black-
so a lot of
Blackbeard?
them are giant. The scale of One Piece is absolutely insane. There will be a
it's-
dude. There will be a dude that's just supposed to be like a normal guy, and he is 21 feet tall for
Okay.
absolutely no reason.
Okay, and that's just supposed to be like
That's
like
just
he's not a
like-
giant.
yeah.
He's just
Yeah, he's just a dude. There are actual also giants in the world
Okay.
of One Piece, and they are massive. There are also just dudes that are just huge.
because there's a character in the game. It's like Blackbeard or something like that.
Yeah, he's one of them. He's
Yeah.
from One Piece. He's
Yeah, and
like one of the
Austin
main bad
kicks
guys.
my ass with that character whenever we play that game. Well, it's been a while, but he he would
He's
kick
one
my
of the
ass
main
with
bad
that one.
guys in One Piece.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I
Yeah.
literally like. I think I think I probably should have gotten into anime more, but like I watched.
I don't see how you aren't.
right. I have all the tropes, but like,
And you're
I don't-
surrounded by it.
Yeah, maybe I don't know, man. Maybe I just need to just
You gotta find the right
be
one.
open minded and stuff. Yeah, because like literally, I was the kid that would come home from school, get off the bus, and then watch Kids WB, and it would be like the next episode of Yu-Gi-Oh or anything. And then like in middle school, I was like, yeah, I'm like, I don't really watch that stuff anymore, and just kind of like I guess force my way out of it. But like I probably should have, like, probably should. It's the same way of like people now that like emo is cool and like being a nerd is kind of cool now. Like when
Yeah.
I was coming up, it was like, no, you fucking nerd. Like playing
Bro,
video games and like anime, that's not cool. And then,
I struggle with that part of life. I'm not gonna lie. Of everything that I have been everything that I have existed in my entire life for, like anime, nerd stuff, emo music, metal stuff,
the whole
being-
underground thing.
being
just-
cool now,
yeah.
but stuff that like I was like legitimately like scoffed at and like
right.
turned away from having conversations for people because I liked that kind of stuff. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, people that just would just like excommunicate me from like people groups because I enjoyed things. That yeah, it's a hard pill to swallow, but I try to swallow it gracefully.
It's super interesting just how like it just like flipped because now like all that stuff is cool and like I don't like
the other
being
thing is like
a-
I'm older than you significantly. I think,
I was gonna
right?
ask, yeah, what year were you born?
I'm 32.
Okay, I'm 29.
Okay, so I'm not significantly older than you, but
Yeah.
I'm older than you. I'm a graduation difference than you basically. I'm a
What year
class.
did you graduate high school?
2009.
Okay, yeah, I graduated 2012. So right when I was graduating
Yeah.
was when a lot of shit was like kind of shifting, but it didn't really like
Yeah.
Kevin and Nikki's like generation, I guess. I hate saying that because I feel old, but whatever. But
They have
like
it easy.
5 years below us, yeah, like
Yeah.
it was like, yeah, like all my friends are into anime and everything.
Yeah, in 2008 and 7, it was not very cool to like A Day to Remember
Nope.
and Fallout Boy and watch Dragon Ball Z and One Piece and Naruto. So
And now your band has a person from Hunter x Hunter as the flyer and as a song.
yeah, which is
And
cool.
people are like, that's sick.
Yeah, and people get the reference. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that part is kind of cool. Like I love that part, like the openness, and it's more fun because I feel like I can talk about it with more people. Like there's more stuff to talk about. But yeah, there's the other parts of it struggle where I see like Uber Chads being like, yeah, I watch anime. Anime's so cool.
And you're like, oh yeah, name
Uber
episode 734.
It's like
Poser.
where were you in 2008 when I was getting shunned by people? You know
yeah,
what I mean?
dude. Could have saved a lot of trips getting thrown into a locker. That didn't happen, but
Exactly.
you know.
I'm too big for that. They wouldn't.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have tried that for me. But yeah,
I-
the thing I had on my side was that I was large.
I
You've
wish I
never
was a
had
little
that.
bit. Yeah,
I'm about to say,
I've
you've
always
never had. That
I've always been
look.
a little scrawny boy and stuff. But
Yeah.
I was I was talking about this on my last thing with Jeffy too, but my buddy Jay Sean, he's known me since like 6th grade, and I don't remember a lot of this, but he was telling me he has a podcast, and so we're trying to do some stuff together. But he was telling me when telling a story about me, he was like, yeah, Nolan was like really shy until like 8th grade, and then he started being like the funny guy. But like until then, I was just like nerdy and shy and stuff. Like I've always been like talkative. Like it was always on my like report card and stuff, like excessive talking and all that, can't sit still, all that kind of stuff. But like I didn't like start putting myself out there until I was like 13, and that's when I did like stand up at like the talent show and like
I was gonna ask when you got into stand up and like when all that stuff started happening. Yeah,
I started doing stand up at talent shows in school. Like I would do it. I did it in 8th grade, and like my material was just like, oh, this is like what this teacher does or something. You know what I mean? Like it was very just kind of niche to the school kind of stuff. I did it,
which is fun. That's called play to the audience.
Play to the audience, absolutely. Netflix special. Here we go. But I did a few talent shows, and then I would do like some school stuff. But I didn't perform at a club until 2017. So it was like January of 2017. So I was probably like 22, about to turn 23. And after that, I started trying to do more club stuff. And then I got some cool opportunities. And
I remember the stuff you were telling me about in Colorado that you got.
Yeah, Colorado has a massive, like, you know how people are like, I want to move to LA to do film, or I want to move to New York to do this, or Broadway or whatever. Like Denver is like, I'm going to go do stand up. Like their stand up scene is crazy because
I heard Nashville's is pretty good too.
Nashville's I've heard is good too. Atlanta I've heard is pretty good too as well. But yeah, Denver, there's a club out there. I've talked about it a little bit before. It's called Comedy Works, and their open mic. In order to get on, you don't just sign up to get on. You have to like submit your name until they pick you, like over and over again until you make the list. Because they have like 500 people submit each week, and then the list is only like 10 or 12 people. And if it's your first time going, you get 2 minutes, and that's it. But the crowd there is like, they make them put their phones in these little magnetic cases. And so everyone is like, they have their phones and stuff, but no one's texting. Everyone's fully attentive. So people will go up there and bomb and still kill it because like they'll still get laughs and stuff. Yeah. So I finally got to do that. I got to do that in 2018. And I took a trip back out there, or a couple trips back out there this year, and I was trying to get back on. When I was out there the first time, you had to call in and like leave a voice message with your name, and now it's like a website, which is super cool. But the cool thing about Comedy Works though is that on those new talent nights, they'll randomly have like a comedian, like, you know, Dave Chappelle or somebody, like, you know, whoever like that will just randomly be there, and they'll just be on the bill. Like when I did it, there was this comedian named Josh Blue who like won Last Comic Standing in like 2009. I think he's like a local from Denver too, but he was just random. Like he wasn't even announced, but he was on the bill that night. And then I remember like I did my set, and then I walked off, and he was like, "Good set, man." And I was like, "Oh, cool. Thanks." And then he did his, but they've had some nights where like Bill Burr or like Ron White or you know, like
show up.
Joe Rogan, you know what I mean? Like whoever will just
they're
like
just
show
in
up.
Town.
Yeah, they'll just be like, "Hey, hop on this, do a surprise little 10-minute set here."
Dalia talks about doing, because I listen to his podcast a lot. He talks about like that's pretty common in the game, especially for people that want to stay sharp, is like traveling to, if they're in a city that they don't, and they're not like on a tour or anything, they're just there for whatever reason. They will, to stay sharp, they'll do a tight 10 or a 15 and just try new material, because that's how you stay good.
Yeah, and instead of just like, oh, they're on the big marquee and like doing all the big stuff, like, yeah, it's just super cool. So like, yeah, Comedy Works is solid. And then I've done some other stuff like in North Carolina and surrounding stuff too. And I kind of took a break whenever Heirloom really started like getting really busy, and then recently I've been trying to get back into it, and then especially now that I'm doing a podcast, I'm like, all right, I gotta have the comedian thing hand in hand too. For sure. It's fun. I would recommend it to anybody to at least try it out once. You should come
down to Greenville. We have a couple cool rooms.
Y'all have the Comedy Zone down there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I've performed at the Charlotte Comedy Zone before.
Yeah, so if you've performed at one, it'll be easy to do a different
Cool.
one.
Yeah, I'll hit him up. That'd be dope.
Yeah, you should. You should come down. We'll grab drinks. It'll
Hell
be cool.
yeah. Yeah. The thing about like comedy though is I was mentioning this with Jeffy too, but like with a band, I can make like a stupid joke and then like, all right, next song. But like with a comedian, it's just you. So if you bomb, it's like, oh God, your ego just kind of all right, push through,
gotta,
you know?
Got to take it in stride.
Yeah, dude, because it's just
have you bombed pretty hard?
I've never like bombed where it's like I'm getting booed or anything, but I did have.
Yeah, but I feel like that's actually probably more rare because people are probably people that are actually going to try to go do stand up for real are at least good enough to like be decent 50% of the time.
Well, my version of bombing that I've had has been setting an expectation because I remember in Denver, I did a set and I was like, okay, this joke killed at this part. This joke killed. This one wasn't as good. Okay, cool. Got it. Go back to the Idiot Box in Greensboro. All right, here's my set. Crickets.
But it's also different people.
Different people, yeah. And so the stuff in my mind,
people.
I was like, all right, this is the one here it comes. Nothing. And then I did like a completely different set work. So it's trial and error, but it's huge ups and downs. So I can
also the consistency that like larger people with names have is that their people come, so like they like their comedy, so they are expecting like their crowd, you know what I'm saying?
And my thing is too is I don't want to sound whatever, but like there's also a lot of clubs and open mics out there where it's easy to get on the mic, and I definitely want to do the thing, you know, when someone asks like, oh, do as many as you can and stuff. It's like, it's the same thing with playing in a band. It's like, do as many as you can, but like do the right ones, because like Comedy Works, there's a crowd there. You're not just playing to the other bands. You know what I mean? Or like
they do a really good job of filling out the room.
Yeah, and same thing with like Comedy Zone and Greenville or Charlotte or something. There's usually a crowd. You're not just like a comedian doing to other comedians, because
people go for comedy. Like people will just go for comedy. Yeah.
Like in the same way where if you're a band playing to other bands, maybe you'll, you know, all right, thank you. You know, very light kind of stuff. Like, okay, night. Like it's kind of, I don't want to say like uppity, but it's kind of like, okay, my turn. You know what I mean? Like, there's not just the pure entertainment aspect. So you definitely gotta bring people too.
For sure. I get that.
But it's fun though.
So when did you start doing like the vocals thing? Like
for bands and stuff?
Just like screaming and singing and that kind of stuff. Cause like you're very, very I
Thank you. Like, I used to suck. So I can tell you about when I used to suck.
Everybody does at some point. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Rarely
you don't just open your mouth and you're like, like, damn, dude, you're a fucking prodigy.
Most people, especially screaming, like zero people are good out the gate.
My first band, like actual band, was in like 2010, and I was 16, and I actually got kicked out of my first band because I was so bad at screaming. But I would do the singing parts, and we would just cover like Under Oath songs and like you know, Devil Wears Prada or something like that. And I would do the singing parts, and then I would play like, I don't know how to play keys, but I would play the one little like dogs can grow beards all over. The
little synth,
the little flute. Yeah. I learned that little part, and it was, you know, kind of wacky, but I would do the singing parts and I would do that. But that band kicked me out because I just didn't really have a place. We had like 6 or 7 members too. We were trying to just, you know, we didn't know what we were doing, but they kicked me out, and then I was real torn up about it. But then that was in my hometown in Davie County, North Carolina, Mocksville, super small. And then the next town over in Salisbury in Rowan County, there was somebody I saw on my Facebook that posted, "Hey, this band's looking for a vocalist." And I was like, okay, I'll like go practice with them or something. I'll hit them up. Ended up joining that band, and then that band was around for, you know, probably like a year or so. And these are all like Christcore, you know, in that kind of scene. Like every band's like, you know, we're doing the Jesus speech and everything too. And then that band eventually broke up right when we were probably about to, probably not like blow up, but we were starting to like our last show we played was opening for like For Today and Stick to Your Guns.
Picking up some steam.
Yeah. And we started doing the, like the bigger kind of like, opening act kind of stuff. But, it was just a lot of like people not getting along and all that kind of stuff. And then the band after that was like the band that kicked me out, the first band that I was in, it was like some of those members. So we started a band. It was like, I guess, my third band. And then we were around for 2 years. We broke up when I was like 19. And then I wasn't in a band for years.
That's when Andy met you, probably.
He met me in that band. Yeah, he actually last night on stage he like told that story. Which is kind of funny.
And he was he was not very good.
I ran in
he's
and
great.
I ran in and I was like, shut the fuck up, because he didn't say it like that, but he was like, I met Nolan in 2014 with his band I For One, and I was like, no, shut the fuck up, like don't name drop. But I don't really care. I was just giving a hard time, but yeah, that's when I met Andy and Billy in 2014 when that band was we were playing at what is now Hangar 1819. It was the Blind Tiger then in Greensboro. And then I was out of a band for a while, and I kind of like accepted in myself where I was like, okay, that whole band thing was fun when I was like 19 or 16 to 19, but I'm an adult now. I need to go get a big boy job, and like I worked at like Verizon and AT&T. You
still did some comedy stuff through those times,
I still
right?
did, yeah. I still did some comedy stuff here and there, but I was kind of just in this like what's the word?
Gray zone of life.
Yeah, like a gray area, just kind of floating, just not really doing anything. And I filled in for a band for one show, but then nothing ever came of it. But then I didn't meet Kevin until 2018, and then I met him and then Nikki and Austin at our very first practice, which was September of 2018. So literally, nice. I'm looking at the calendar. That's like 5 years coming up in a month, which is nuts.
Crazy.
I know, man. It still feels like it's only been like 2 years.
You've done a lot. The band has done a lot in 5 years. It's pretty crazy.
It's wild because my perception was like, I'm the new guy for a while. And then now I look at the calendar and I'm like, this band has doubled and outlived more than like any other band I've ever been in.
And numbers wise, it's blown the shoes off of anything you've probably ever been in.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And I didn't know, even when I first like met up with what would be called Heirloom, I was just like, okay, this will be a fun little like just a little garage band or something, like we're just gonna jam and stuff. And then it just started to pick up steam, and then next thing you know, here we are having a conversation. Five years later almost. But yeah,
crazy.
Throughout that process, I used to be really bad at vocals, and I need to learn how to give vocal lessons because I don't really know how to explain what I'm doing. But I've just it's the classic, like I just take advice from people that are better and smarter than me and just kind of pass it on and stuff. And I would watch a lot of like videos. I don't even know if it's on YouTube anymore, but Adrian, the old vocalist of North Lane, he was doing an interview and somebody was like asking him like vocal tips and stuff. And I would do that. And then I would always practice in my car, like the higher screams. I would always listen to like Oh Sleeper and stuff and like really try to like
blow your voice out over and over and over
high
again.
Shit. Yeah. And then a lot of the like My Children, My Bride and old like first two albums are like The Word Alive and like A Plea for Purging, and a lot of stuff is how I got that like mid kind of tone going on. And then I just kind of went with that. And then even in Heirloom, like I joined Heirloom already as a way better vocalist, but then since joining Heirloom and then changing up a lot of like my personal habits and diet and everything like that, I've even more so expanded my my vocals now, like this year, and doing a lot more like belty singing stuff. And I mean, part of that is I'm not drinking soda all day and smoking a pack of Marlboro 27s.
Bro, it's crazy it's crazy what health will do for your vocals.
It's nuts,
right?
man. Yeah, like, and then
crazy.
Now I'm Elf Bar boy,
Yeah.
Which eventually that's gonna cut that out, but like overall I'm still like I have so much more endurance, and
you're on the trajectory of getting it all out of
exactly.
You, which
yeah,
is good.
and like I'm always drinking water. I'm going to the bathroom like 2 times every 30 minutes, kind of thing.
Yep, I feel you.
So
I just finished my bottle.
Yeah, dude. But
but that's cool. That's cool. I didn't know your story of. I knew you had been in some bands before Heirloom because Andy had told me that. but I didn't
Yeah,
know
yeah.
like how many or what was your trajectory. That's pretty fun.
Yeah, it definitely, and they all came from like the Christ core side, but it was nothing, no shame against that, because I make the joke now that Heirloom's a Christian band because I'm a Christian and I'm the vocalist, and there's no swearing on our new album, so we're a Christian band automatically.
Look like a youth pastor up there.
Youth pastor.
What was
yeah.
What was the thing that you said on Instagram? You looked like a social studies teacher.
A social studies teacher, yeah. And I made that joke last night of the show. Like, I forget what I was saying. I was like, I know some of y'all are like, why is my social studies teacher yelling at me right now? And then somebody on Facebook, I guess, commented, was like, is y'all's vocalist really a social studies teacher? It's like, no.
That's so funny.
A lot of people probably think I am, though. But
hey, man, you just look like youth pastor Nolan.
Yeah, dude. I'm like, hey, guys, you guys ever listen to Skillet?
Mr. Smith.
Oh, God. Mr. Kenneth. Mr. Smith. Yeah.
Mr. Smith.
I go by my middle name. I'm sorry. Yeah. That's so funny. Yeah. I never have the like, yeah, I'm in a band. What's up? You know, it's very like a lot of people that know just this side of me, Nolan, just kind of little quirky, nerdy, fucking youth pastor. I'm gonna add this to my stand-up set, but as an opener. But it's gonna be something along the lines of like, oh, hey, I'm just gonna get out of the way. I know I look like Tobey Maguire in Spider-Man 3 when he puts the suit on and turns emo for 20 minutes.
Yeah. That's
starts
good.
listening to too much Hawthorne Heights and stuff.
That's good.
I'm like, because somebody at the Idiot Box comedy place one time I pulled up and it was wintertime and I was wearing like this like long like green jacket and I had like my hair was kind of messy and I had my glasses and he was like, bro, you look like emo Spider-Man. And I was like, damn, you're right.
Bro, you're not wrong. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So here's something we do on my podcast, and since this is a collab episode, we're gonna do a couple things that or something that I normally do. So I love to give, and I'm gonna give one as well for your listeners as well. So I love to give an artist, band, or whatever musical project that you find underrated.
Okay.
And an art and then another one that you're like just super hype on right now.
Okay.
Like, and they don't have to be known, or they can be underground, or they can be whatever.
Man, I'm gonna have to narrow it down in my head. I already got some stuff going on. So
yeah, you're good. So I'll give my stoked on first. And then you can kind of do your thing. I've been like mad revisiting this girl called Loony.
How's it spelled?
Loony.
Okay.
She's this girl from Toronto, and she does like the coolest lo-fi R&B that I've ever heard. It's so good.
I love that stuff.
It's just like one of those things that you put on and you're like, I don't know whether to feel chill, sad, or happy that I'm alive, and like, or if it's somewhere in between. It's so good. And some
just
of her runs
mood.
are, yeah, it's just a whole vibe. So it's one of those things. She does some crazy runs and stuff. And then
send it to me. I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah, it's sick. And then my underrated one is this is another recent revisit, but Tides of Man, specifically the Dreamhouse album.
Oh my God, yes,
it's so good.
Is that the one with the blue on it?
Yeah, with the ship on the front of it. Yeah, bro.
Yeah,
freaking.
Oh my God,
underrated. Like I was bullish on that album. I loved that album until
it's so good.
And now everybody knows who Tillian is. But I was like, yo, this dude is crazy.
This is sick. Yeah. I'm still pissed because back then when that was out and Tillian was like not even in Dance Gavin Dance at the time, I emailed his management and asking for a vocal feature, and it was so cheap. And then my band just didn't do it because it was like, oh, we don't know who that is.
Bro,
they were like three. I have to look back in old emails, but there were like three different people in that era that are now like giant household names that I could have gotten for like cheap. Like I'm talking like under $200. Like
That's crazy.
But okay, so I guess for mine, Oh, you froze up on me. You still there? There you go.
Yeah, I'm there. So why don't you go for yours?
Okay,
Go
so
for
Stoked
yours.
On and then Underrated.
Stoked On and one you find underrated.
Okay. Stoked On right now would be a band called Wargasm from the UK.
Yeah. I know Orgasm. They did a song with Shikari.
Yeah, they're really sick.
They're super sick.
Me and my girlfriend are going to go see them in Greensboro next month. And just kind of make a day out of them. Yeah, it's so they're bringing like, and like her voice. So how I even found them was Nikki, while we were in the studio and Nikki was doing vocals, she was like, I'm going to try to do what Wargasm's doing. And I was like, show me like a clip. And then she showed me like their song Spit, where she's like,
oh, it's a great song.
It's so disgusting. And like,
yeah, it's like punk. It's so cool.
And Nikki was like, that's the kind of vocals I'm trying to do. And I was like, okay, cool. So I really got hooked on that. So they're sick. They have a new album coming out this year, I'm pretty sure.
They're super sick. They're heavy too.
Oh yeah, I'm excited to see them. And then Underrated, band from Charlotte called Lanny Day. And it's spelled LANIIDAE, I think. It's like a bird. Like if you look it up, it's like a species of bird or something.
Okay.
But they are one of my favorites. They're very criminally underrated. They're I guess a metalcore band, but they have a lot of like hip hop kind of like pop kind of elements in there too. It's just really, really unique and just really, really done well. I wish I could do more because there's like I could throw some other ones in there too.
I mean, you could do whatever you want. I just like doing those two because it normally starts a conversation.
Okay, gotcha. Well, on that, Candescent is underrated as well.
Oh, facts, bro.
Highly. I put them and Lana Day are like my two favorite, like as a fan, like two favorite bands from like the tri-state area, and both are very underrated. But I think they're gonna blow up if they just keep like just doing it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, they're sick. I think we're gonna try to get some Harm and Candescent stuff.
That'd be dope, man.
Together.
They're really dope because like they're playing like house shows, but they're also playing shows with like Terror and like, you know, people like that and stuff too. And like they remind me of like when Knocked Loose was a local band and then Knocked Loose like blew up. Like Candescent kind of I feel like is gonna have that
before Laugh Tracks. It reminds me of that album before Laugh Tracks. The
Gospel with like the pit bull on it on the fence.
Yeah, exactly. They remind me a lot of that era. And maybe even the EP era.
And then they got some like MySpace, like they have like the songs that are like Tom is my only friend on MySpace or whatever. I'm like, okay, you guys are kind of doing a little like throwbacky kind of thing.
You get the emo thing.
Right. Yeah. So
understand.
They are screamo. You know what I mean? Like they are
100%.
The definition of that. So it's super dope. And then they did the feature on Revenge in Kyoto's song too, which is super sick.
Yeah, I saw that. That's really sick. Another record I've been like mad stoked on, and I also think is underrated. So this is kind of a combo of both. Is this group called Half Moon Run?
Okay.
They have an album called Salt. It came out like this year. Let
me pull that up on Spotify just so I have that.
It is. So if you like any kind of like folk pop or anything like that, like good more organic instruments. But I will say it is one of the best records I've heard front to back this year. And I've been recently
called again. I got the search thing up.
It's called Half Moon Run. Half Moon Run's the band.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll save it. Okay.
Sick. Yeah,
I love the cover
so
art.
good. Yeah, it's so good. And it's one of those things where like you listen to it and you're like, yeah, this is good. And then the next song comes on and you're like, yeah, this is good too. And then the next song comes on and you're like, dang. And then the next song comes on and you're like, they just don't miss. And
that's my favorite. That's kind of like how I don't know if it'll sound the same, but the way that you were describing it, there was a band called Boy and Bear that was like they have an album called Moonfire. It's like 2011, but it was right around when like Mumford and Sons were first coming out and stuff. But,
gotcha. This has big Mumford. Yeah, this also has kind of big Mumford energy.
This was more like a chiller version of that, you know, like more just like very easy. You can just put it on at any time.
Yeah.
And
if you've ever listened to Fleet Foxes,
yes,
Half Moon Run is very similar to like if you took Fleet Foxes and Mumford and Sons and
Oh,
kind of
I'll probably love
mishmashed them
it.
together. And the vocalist sounds a lot like the dude from a combo of the dude from Coldplay and John Foreman from Switchfoot, kind of like had a baby.
A wild Ian Joshua Riley appears.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't look in the mirror and say Coldplay 3 times, or he'll
exactly.
he'll appear. I listened to that episode.
Of the
not
podcast?
to derail, but yeah,
No.
I listened to y'all's 2-parter on the way back from my most recent trip out west, and I remember because I have this thing where when I'm driving, especially on a long drive, I can remember like, oh yeah, I was in this state when I listened to this song or this podcast.
Or this
I was driving
section of the podcast.
Yeah, exactly. And I was driving through West Virginia, and I parked at this like rando rest stop at like 4 a.m, and I was finishing up the episode. And then that night I was listening to Thrice Viesu album, and then Ian. I didn't even post that I was listening to the podcast, but Ian like replied to my story or something, was like, "Oh, best out" or something like that, and I was like, "Dude,
Yeah.
I was literally just listening to you talk about stuff. Like that's crazy."
Yeah, that dude loves him some Thrice.
Oh yeah, they're my favorite.
That episode was really fun, and it wasn't supposed to be 2 parts, but the way that with my podcast, I'm kind of a stickler on like, if I'm gonna have a conversation with somebody, I want it to be like about a topic. And so like if they're there to promote something, I want especially with Ian, like he was there to promote the band called Love Stuff.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of context to like mine and his relationship that needed to happen. And like I wanted people to also understand him as a producer. So what ended up happening is like first episode was like here's who is Ian Joshua Riley as a producer and like all that. And then the second episode was more like about a band called Love and the production of the song and like how he thinks about band stuff and all that kind of stuff. So it
was
ended
cool.
It ended up working. Outside of that, it would have been like a 2.5 hour podcast, which I also don't really do too often.
Do you have a limit on like how long yours usually go?
I've done 2 hours and 2.5. I've only done 1 2.5 hour one. And it was with my buddy Tanner, who's a vocal producer. He's a vocal tuner in Nashville. And he also is a producer and a mix engineer in his own right. But he's most of his bigger credits are from vocal tuning. He's worked with people like Bethel and like Brook and the Bluff and like Knightley and Joan and like, a bunch of like Nashville indie pop groups are big names. And
y'all talked for 2.5?
Yeah, we did 2.5.
Wow.
But I also have a co-host, so it helps. So I'm not doing all of so like the conversation is going between 3 people, which is really easy to let go for 2.5 hours.
Oh yeah.
When especially when you're talking about production.
Mm-hmm. You can get like side tangent on like
so
plugins
nerdy
and all this
we can get so nerdy. Well, and like a lot of it's really funny. On my podcast, you would think that by like calling myself the Home Studio Hangout that we would nerd out about like plugins and recording techniques and mics and preamps and stuff like that, and we do sometimes, but I would argue that 75% of our episodes, 25% are like the nerdy stuff of like plugins and talking about music and stuff, and like 75% of the episode is like talking about our careers and like how we did what we did, and then also like our approach. So it has less to do with like the gear and more to do with like
how your mentality.
Yes, how we approach working with clients, or if we have people that are artists come on, like how they approach songwriting or how they approach vocal tracking and all the mentality behind it rather than the gear associated with it, which I would argue is the better way to do it, because gear can be purchased, but good songwriting can't be bought.
Right. Really. Yeah. That's all like process mentality type stuff. And
exactly.
Approach. Yeah.
You can't buy the ability or download the ability to be good at writing a song.
No, not yet, man. Not until the robots take over.
Not yet. Not until AI takes over.
No. I don't know, man. The Plankton cover of "Tool the Pot" is probably the best song I've ever heard.
But it's still a cover.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's a cover.
So that's I find that actually very fun because me and Josh set out in the beginning thinking like this podcast will be about we're going to try to give people information like an encyclopedia,
Right.
because that's how there was a lot of people that just like didn't know where to start when we started the podcast in like 2020.
Well,
And as it grew,
you were just like, okay, I'm just gonna take all these thoughts and just make a podcast out of it, and then that'll be the podcast. And then
so a lot of it was conversations, and then some of it was like, what is compression, and like explaining compression. And then what we learned is that like one of us would end up doing the talking when it comes into like getting into the weeds about stuff, and then the other person would just like check out mentally, and like because it was really like crunchy stuff, and
Yeah.
not
that would be
not
me if you had
super-
somebody on here and y'all were talking about anything with X and 32, 57. I'd be like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you just kind of mentally go, oop. And we
Yeah,
both
I'm
have
just like,
bad
huh?
ADHD, so it doesn't
Yeah.
really work. So what we decided on is it's a lot easier for both of us to pay attention if we either have a specific thing we want to talk about, or if we have a specific person we want to talk to.
Okay.
So like recently, what I've started doing, we try to do co-host episodes where it's just he and I once a month, basically, so that I can stockpile some of those. So like we have one that just dropped a couple weeks back. By the time this comes out, it'll have been about a month ago, but where we watched an interview with Kenny Beats, where him and Pharrell were having a conversation about like what a producer looks like nowadays. And we were just
Mhm.
kind of like talking about our viewpoint on that, and like kind of showing what our experience is. And so that kind of stuff. I feel like that's a fun conversation, right? Because they're looking at it from guys that are winning Grammys. We're looking at it from dudes who are just like in the intermediates of their career.
Mhm.
So I think we have an interesting perspective on it. And then like another time we did, this is one that hasn't come out yet. I don't know when it'll come out because it's kind of evergreen. But we did a tier list of like plugin companies.
Oh, sick. I
So
know
it's
like a lot of people will nerd out over that though.
yeah,
for
exactly.
sure. That'd be a
It's
fun
all
one.
it's all opinions, and yeah, but it's like if we have a specific thing that we can do, we'll like stay focused on it. Sometimes I'll just be like, Josh, what you been up to, and just let him go. But
Yeah,
most of the time,
that's
I
kind
just
of
have
how
to,
it
like,
is on ours. With when I was talking to Jeffy, we were like, okay, if we get like Brendan from Counterparts on here, then like you and me got to both talk to him. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
there's certain people that you're like, whether it's the person or just the topic or whatever, you're like, okay, this person's gonna have these questions, this person's gonna have and it's just a personality game too, because
For
like,
sure.
you know, what are people doing? You know, they're putting a podcast on while they're going to work or driving. Like a lot of times, for
Yeah.
me personally, as a consumer, I put on podcasts if I'm going on a long road trip because it just makes it go by faster. Because it feels like you're in a
I
conversation.
actually fall asleep to podcasts.
Really?
Yeah, I've started falling asleep to podcasts. I have certain ones that I can do it with, certain
Yeah.
ones I can't, but like certain ones I'll turn on and then set a sleep timer for 45
I was going to
minutes.
ask if you did like the sleep timer thing on there.
Yeah, I'll set it for like 45 minutes, and generally by the end of that 45 minutes I'll be asleep.
That's cool.
I also do it while I'm driving, and I'll also do it. I do it when I'm like working out a lot.
Mhm.
And then I have others that I do that I watch visually on YouTube specifically.
Yes, that's how.
While I'm editing or doing any
kitty.
kind of like video editing work.
I'll send you Garza's podcast. You might
Yeah,
like it.
do it. Yeah,
I'm
send it
not
over.
even a big Suicide Silence fan, but I love him as a person, and all of
Yeah.
his are in-person interviews with multi-camera.
Nice.
At his studio in LA. So what he'll usually do is if like a band is on tour, I just sent it to you. If a band is on
Nice.
tour, then he just has them just like stop by before load in or something like that. And Alpha Wolf got on there and he didn't even know who Alpha Wolf was. And literally Sabian DM'd him and was like, hey man, I know you don't know us, but we like the podcast and we're going to be in LA if you want to have us on. And then Garza checked him out and then he had him on. And I was like, dude, I'm going to freaking do the same thing.
Yeah. Why not, dude? For sure.
Yeah.
No, dude, that's sick. I generally watch. It's funny. I actually don't listen to a ton of podcasts when it comes to like music industry stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably, I like interviews, but I don't
Same.
listen. So like I don't, but it also very much depends on who the host is, right?
Yes.
So I'll listen to Craig's the Downbeat.
Oh my God, I love him. Yes.
Craig's incredible because he's a
goat,
good
dude.
he's a good interviewer. He's a funny guy.
Yeah.
He's very good at asking good questions.
Right.
And not just dumb questions.
Not just like, what was it like in the studio?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And
like,
I try to be, I try to like, I actually learn a lot from him on like, he does a good job of segmenting things. If you listen to a lot of his podcasts, he'll segment things into upfront, how'd you get started? And then that'll inevitably go on into a tangent. And then he'll have a 2 or 3 specific things that he wants to talk to them about if it comes, like if the time happens that he can do that. And then at the end he has like his like
the Dream Festival,
the Dream Fest thing.
Yeah.
So my version of that is I have 2 things that I do. So I kind of stole this idea stole it, not really, but
you made it your own. Yeah.
The idea of having a segment at the end I think is not uncommon.
Yeah, everybody.
Everybody kind of does
people do that.
So mine is the songs thing, like who's underrated, who you been hyped on, who's underrated. Mainly because I like finding new music, and I am very bad about staying up on new music.
Mm-hmm.
So this is my way of like finding new stuff to listen to. And then the other thing is like, what's a production trick that you've been like using a lot lately or very stoked on or something like that, which most producers or engineers like are down to share like crazy weird thing they've been trying out. So, and that gets everybody excited. And then if you ask me that,
I'd just be like, I plugged the microphone into the USB.
Bro, I started plugging the microphone into the interface instead of
whoa, oh my God,
recording. It's crazy.
Why didn't I know about this?
Yeah, it's wild. But yeah, so I started doing that, and that's been really cool to kind of give me like a framework to work with, and that's how I kind of keep it around we generally aim for the 1.5 to 2 hour mark.
Okay.
But yeah,
I my first episode was like right at like 30 minutes, 34 minutes, and then my second episode is like almost 2 hours.
Yeah,
and then,
it happens.
I mean, whoever, I mean, I'll talk to some. I'm probably not ever going to do like a 4-hour episode, but like you pick it up. Like I think 2 hours is like a good.
Yeah, for sure.
Good little mark.
For sure. Well, and what I was getting to is I don't listen to a lot of like music related stuff unless it's somebody that I'm interested in. I've been really into tech podcasts. So I listen to Waveform, which is the YouTuber MKBHD. I don't know if you know who that is.
No, I don't think so.
He is like one of the biggest tech YouTubers in like crazy amounts of everything. It's his podcast that he does with like some people that work with him. And it's really interesting. It's how I stay up on like tech developments on like phones and computers and TVs, and like they talk about software, hardware. They talk a lot about like the electric vehicle, like the EV landscape. So I like kind of keeping up on that. So it's a cool place to kind of learn about that stuff. And they're fun dudes. They're funny. So I enjoy listening to them. And then I listen to this podcast about video games called the Nintendo Podcast.
That's a cool name.
Yeah, right. So it's 2 YouTubers. They both do like, one does primarily like more retro-y kind of content or more like hardware content, and the other one does like a lot of Switch content.
Sick.
But they're both very funny dudes. Easy listening guys. So I enjoy them. They have good opinions, and I enjoy. They challenge my opinions on stuff a lot too. And then a lot of D&D stuff.
Of course, yeah. You're the dungeon master. You're the guy.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, a lot of D&D podcasts. So
I love my favorite thing is I'll put on, a podcast with some sort of music interview thing, whether it's the Downbeat or Garza or, whoever like that. And a lot of times it'll be just me sitting here with headphones, playing Rocket League, and they'll be talking, but then all those podcasts will reach a certain level of like they'll reach a part where I feel like, oh, I'm in here right now. Like I feel like they're talking directly to me, because it's like they'll be talking about like really specific stuff that only people in music bands are like stuff with mental health. Like it's stuff that like it feels to me, I'm like, okay, I'm not the only one that deals with this thing or something like that. And I'll sit there and like, as soon as that part comes on and I'm playing, I'll start losing at the game, because I'm sitting there like focused in, like ripping my pen, just like, all right, dude, I'm like getting my brain ready for some lessons, some sermons here.
Yeah, the Static Dress episode was really, really good.
That one was sick. Yeah,
they talk. It was really interesting to hear them talk about like their approach, and it was funny because I actually disagree with a lot of some stuff that their approach. But the thing is, I can't deny that their approach worked. But
works for them for sure.
But the thing is, it works for them, and I don't necessarily. Their advice would not be good blanket advice, but because it's very like artsy,
very
advice.
Like he does the thing. The singer does the thing where like every single flyer he takes he has like a printout version and then takes like a physical picture of it and then uploads that. Like, he's very focused on like the arts, like presentation. Like it's very much like art presentation.
And not everybody either can do that or has the ability to do that. Like either has the time or ability to do that.
And like, they're not like doing reels on TikTok and stuff like that, like they just have a different presentation. So yeah, I get
exactly.
What you mean. It's not good like blanket stuff, but it's just,
but it is an interesting approach to it, which I can respect.
Yeah. And it works for them. And if somebody else tried to do the same thing, people would be like, dude, you Static Dress did that first kind of thing. So you just gotta find what works for you.
Taking an individual approach on that kind of stuff. Yeah, for sure.
I love hearing the different perspectives though. It's super sick.
For sure. Yeah, that's true. I'm you know what's wild? Doing a podcast at night.
At night?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're on Nolan hours, bro. I'm gonna do all mine at like between the hours of 8 p.m. and like 4 a.m. Just like who up? Who wants to talk?
We do ours on Tuesdays at like 11 a.m.
Yeah, no, we're like 12 hours off.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, all right, Nolan's he just played a show, so he'll be awake at like
No, that's what I was saying. I could go backwards I could go backwards and catch you.
Yeah.
I could go backwards and be like 4 a.m. Yeah. 8 a.m. Maybe. Probably catch him.
That's fine.
Right before bed.
I need right before bed.
Yeah. He might
right when
be
the sun's already been out for like an hour.
You're on Scott Siegel time, bro.
I've been told. Kevin told me, he was like, you and Scott are the exact fucking same. And I was like,
in terms to talk.
I need to get him on my podcast.
You should 100% do that. He would be so down to do that.
Why is he not
he did his first podcast with me, the one that he did that we're gonna drop in like a couple weeks. That was his very first podcast. So he's
got
down.
Him on the list.
Bro, he'll talk for hours. So
I bet. Kevin was like, you and him both do the same sleep schedule type stuff. Like,
you would literally be up at 2 a.m. doing a podcast.
I'm gonna hit him up at 2 a.m. tonight and be like, hey, what's up?
You want to do a podcast?
You up?
Yeah. Hit him with the you up. You want to do a podcast?
You up? You want to talk? You want to Zoom me? What's up?
Yeah. But yeah, dude. No, it's fun. Doing a podcast is honestly super fun. I thought it was gonna be more of a chore. Like, because for me, it was like I want to give information to people,
right?
But also, like, there's selfish reasons to do that too, right? It's like I want to be perceived and viewed as a person of knowledge in my space,
smart and like a good source of knowledge,
so that people would be like, oh, I trust him to work on my records.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's that aspect to it. So like doing it up front and taking the time to figure out and let it kind of ebb and flow until we land on like the formula that we're on now, which I'm really, really happy with. Especially in the last like 6 or 7 months, like this, basically all of this year, has been
you've
like
been on a roll.
I've been really happy with like what we've been doing this
Hell
year,
yeah.
and a little because we didn't do a whole lot last year because Josh was moving to Atlanta from Pittsburgh, so we had to, and then I had a kid that 2 years ago, but he didn't really get super complicated until about 1.
Yeah.
So
as
it
I
kind
hear.
of so it kind of started taking a toll as far as like mentally, but now I feel like I'm in a much better place. I have really good processes behind it,
And now
I
you got
feel-
like the residual like dad knowledge too. So
yeah, that too.
you bring
yeah,
that you bring
too.
that to the pod.
Yeah.
You're like, no,
Yeah.
I am a dad. Like,
It's very
I'm out
funny
here.
because most people see me and like they're like they think I'm 25 most of the time.
I thought you were, yeah, I would agree.
25 to 27.
I thought you were, when we met, I thought maybe we were either the same age or maybe I was older than you. I didn't know you were older than me.
Most people, when they see me, they're like, "You look really young." It's like, I'm not. I'm probably older than you.
Yeah. Like,
it's very funny.
Like you, that's a good thing though, I guess. That's a
bad thing.
compliment.
Except I'm getting these grays in now. So.
Same. Oh my God, dude. And I look at pictures of like my dad when he was my age and like he started already having like grays and stuff and just eventually just, George Clooney type, just for men type look kind of thing. And I'm like,
listen,
all right,
I'm
man,
ready.
I was going to say, I'm embracing it now. Like I'm ready for that to happen.
I've actually thought about going full on just like go to a salon and have them bleach it all. Like white it out, like silver it out.
That'd be dope.
I think it would look
silver
sick.
fox.
Yeah. Like straight, especially because my beard is so dark.
Yeah.
Like it would look really cool to have
blend.
Like platinum up top and like
my girlfriend's a hairstylist. She'll do it.
That would be fun.
She's told me before she wants to like do some colors in mine. Like wants to either do like the blonde or like a red or something like that to like add to it.
The thing is, if somebody screws up, like I'll just let it be whatever. I don't really
You just shave your head, whatever. No.
I probably won't shave my head, but it would grow back pretty fast. It would grow back pretty fast.
Have you ever had like long hair?
Yeah, when I got married, it was like down to here, down to my shoulders.
Oh yeah, I think I might have seen pictures of that.
Yeah, it was super, super long.
Okay.
When we got married, I used to have a underbuzz. So it was long on the top and I would tie it up into like it was a really strong, I was very proud of my bun at the time. And then I would have my my barber, because I've been going to the same barber for forever, and she would do the underside of my hair. She would fade the underside of my hair. Yeah, it looked really cool because when you pull it up, it looks awesome, and then you wear a hat and it still looks awesome. And then when you let it down, it just looks sick still. So like it's this long. The upkeep was a pain in the butt.
I bet. That's the thing with like my just same haircut that I've been getting for the last few years is just like it's cool, long on top a little bit, kind of up, and then like shaved on the sides. But then as soon as like a month goes by and the sides start getting longer, it just looks so like weird.
Yeah.
So I gotta wear.
I found a good barber, and she's been my barber for 8 years now.
I was seeing a barber when I lived in Raleigh, and then I moved down here to Charlotte with her, and then now I'm just like, well, I guess I'll just
I got
you do this for a living.
I'm about to say if she doesn't do barbers, I can connect it to a barber. But if
she kills it. She does. I just go to pull up on her salon, and then she's like, "Hey,
there you go.
I got you.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about." Yeah, I found one 8 years ago, and she was my buddy Ryan Lau's sister. Shout out Brooke Lau, my barber. I followed her through 2 barbershops, and now she owns her own, and I'm very proud of her.
That's so sick.
I was her. So this is actually crazy. I was her first haircut to get her barber's license. So to get her first barber's job.
Oh, to like get the actual.
So to do it. So to get a job. So not the certification part. I think she already had that, or maybe she was going for that. But to get the job at her first barbershop, she had to have a chair head to like show that she could cut hair.
Okay.
And I was that hair.
So you were like the proving
So-
ground kind of thing.
Yeah. And so, and
The
I
guinea
talked
pig.
her up. I talked her up real good to the owner of the shop and helped her get her job and stuff. And
That's
then,
dope.
so I followed her. She was at that shop, and then she was at another shop, and then that shop left, and she was at another shop called Oxford, and they're really, really great. And then she kind of just grew out of, she wanted to own her own place. So she kind of grew out of that. And now she owns her own shop called Odyssey. It's really, really cool.
That's so cool,
And,
man. You love to see that, like just the grind, like
And,
pure, like that's just so wholesome.
yeah. And I've been with her for, like I said, about 8 years. She cut my hair through weddings, and she cut my hair through
All the
having
emergency
a baby.
haircuts.
And,
Yeah,
well, I have like a standing, like every other month appointment with her, basically. So,
sick.
I see her every other month. So she's awesome. I watched her kids grow up. And the thing that helps is like, we were friends before. And her brother is one of my really, really good friends.
Dude.
So he and I have been very good friends for a very long time. He's a producer in Nashville. So
I did not get a good haircut until after I graduated high school. Because like
that sounds about
throughout,
right.
if you look at any yearbook picture, maybe my senior one's all right. I'm kind of handsome in there, but any other picture in my yearbook repertoire is just so bad because the hairstylist that my mom used to go see, she doesn't go see her anymore, but she was just like, she would be like talking to you and like looking at you in the mirror while doing the thing and like carrying on a conversation.
Yeah,
and
scary.
Just like it would be so bad. Like I would just, it would be so terrible. And I'm like,
we always
want to go to school like this.
We went to decent places. My mom was kind of picky, so we went to decent places, but they were always like salons or like general haircut places. So they weren't good at like specialty guys' hair. So when I would ask for a fade, it'd be like a white girl obviously did this fade. Funny thing is, my barber is a white girl, but she's like really, really good, and she's
in it. Like,
well, she learned that whole thing, and she's one of those like multi-hair colored, tatted up all the way down, and
right.
Like, she gets it.
Pure artist.
Also, her brother is also a producer and a musician, so like,
right. She's involved. Yeah.
Yeah, she understands the scene.
Yeah, that's how I think that's important. Like I think if you pull up to like a salon or a barbershop or something like that, and then people have colored hair or tattoos, you're like, all right, I can be like, hey, let me get the Mad Men haircut. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
Let me get the 2015 metalcore vocalist haircut real quick.
I actually need to go back. She shapes my beard too, so I started having her do my beard and stuff. I didn't really grow up at a beard until after college. So
were you just like baby face before, or did you have like little patchy stuff, or did you shave it?
So I have a really bad patch like on the underside of my chin.
Okay.
And so it would always get into this weird phase where I would basically have like a hole like in the bottom of my chin, which was so dumb. So I would just shave it off. I would just shave it off. So, but eventually you just shave it enough times. Like it's still kind of there, but on either side of it grows so much now that you can't see it. So,
dude, I never understood. Like, there's people I went to high school with where I was like, we're the same age, and you're like 6'5" and have a full beard at like 17.
Yeah, I never understood that either.
And I was just like, what the hell, dude? And like, I didn't get like
testosterone in them boys.
Yeah, man. What are you eating at lunch, dude? Jesus Christ.
Footballs.
Literally like eating the footballs,
just literal footballs.
The inflatable Nerf one, or not inflatable, the little like one that has a bite taken out of it all. Yeah, the foam one.
Yeah. I have a oh, you can't see it. On this door that you can't see, there's a giant chunk taken out of it where my son, when he was 1, decided to just bite it. Yeah, it was
so good. Yeah, you're like, yep, that's my boy.
That's my boy.
That's my boy.
But
taking bites out of foam.
Yeah, dude. But yeah, so we're doing pretty good. I didn't realize you moved to Charlotte.
Yeah. I just moved in with my girlfriend down here, and I'm not sure how long we'll stay down here. Her lease is up in February. We're trying to figure out if we want to make some sort of move after that.
Greenville?
To Greenville, maybe. It's on the list. But I don't know. We'll see what we can do. We'll see what's up.
Come on down, baby.
Come on down, get you some.
We got cheaper places to live and cheaper groceries and cheaper gas, and
we're thinking Greenville, Asheville, or like maybe across the country.
Hey, if you're moving to Asheville, you'll still only be like 30 minutes away from me. So
right, yeah. I always forget that it's like on a map, it's like right fucking there.
yeah. There's literally like I just drive 30 to 45 minutes just like north on this highway that's next to my house, and you're there. So if you end up being there,
yeah, we'll see. I mean, dude, this year has been so crazy.
Life is crazy.
Dude, yeah, it's been like we have this ongoing bit in the band, specifically me and Nikki, where like our lives are a TV show, and it's like, oh, we're in season 5, and like we're introducing this character, and this is an episode of the show, or this is like, there's so many. And I think we started doing that. Me and her started doing that honestly out of a like coping mechanism, because we were both just like real stressed out at work, and we were just like, oh man, this season 2 development's pretty crazy. So we just started like, we're like, oh, the writers are going crazy on this one. So we've established that in Heirloom and everyone's in their own TV show, but Heirloom is on season 5 right now. Heirloom started season 5. Like
you are in year 5 of
ago.
the band, so.
Right. Yeah. So we didn't do that on purpose. It just happened to time out, like with plot events that happened.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So we had some friends come over over a year ago, and I think that's where that got established, because it was some friends we hadn't seen in a while, and we were like, oh, what is this, like the season 3 finale? And then we just kind of made a joke on that, and then it just kind of like kept going.
That's funny.
Yeah, me and Nikki all the time are like, oh yeah, man, this plot this season's crazy. So it's fun.
Yeah, you were living there for a hot minute.
I lived there for like 4 years.
Yeah.
And originally I was only going to stay there for like a few months or maybe a year or so. And then COVID happened, and then they were like, okay, well, you're here, so whatever. And then
might as well just stay.
Yeah, but like their family, like Nikki's family, you know, Mr. Mike, Miss Terry, shout out the Leffersons, dude. Like they pretty much adopted me. Hey, we got some pets.
Yeah, dude.
Wee.
This is my wife's Chinese crested named Stevie.
Stevie.
Yeah.
Like Stevie Nicks.
Yep, exactly. That's why, because of her hair. But she is she's bald.
Oh, nice.
She's a hairless dog.
I've never seen one. Is that made in the lab?
Is
that like
made in
YouTube?
the lab? Yeah. She's got a little bit of a Karen haircut, actually.
I was gonna say, yeah, she's got a little bit of something there. The little like
but
Jonah Hill, where he like flips his hair in 21 Jump Street.
Little mohawk.
Jesus.
But yeah, she's hairless on her side. She won't grow hair on their sides. So she's a Chinese crested. That's what they're called.
Is that just like part of the breed? It just doesn't.
Yeah.
They just don't grow hair.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. They got sweat glands.
That's like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's weird for dogs.
I didn't think that was possible.
She'll get like pimples and stuff. It's funny.
Ooh, gross. Ooh, real people stuff. Nasty.
I know, right? It's my wife's favorite like breed it's like her dream breed. They're like very expensive dogs. Mm-hmm. And she works at the Humane Society. So they had a litter of them come in, and she was like, mine.
Instantly. Give me that.
Yeah. And we got it for like significantly cheaper because she works there, and it was, you know, at the Humane Society and not from a breeder, even though technically it was from a breeder. But they would have gone to gone to a good home now. Right.
Our the cats that my girlfriend I guess technically adopted. I haven't had cats in a while or lived with them. I've been living with, you know, dogs for the last few years. But how these came to be is a client at my girlfriend's work. I guess someone knew someone who knew something like that down the line, and like these cats basically belonged to like an old lady, and then the old lady passed away. But these cats are like 14 years old.
Oh,
and
dang.
like,
so they're just set in their ways.
So they're just, but like I was talking to her the other day, and I was like, how funny is it that they're just like their whole life just changed. Now they're sitting here with like two like 30-year-olds almost, and like they're sweet or whatever, but like they're, you know, cats and weird and mysterious, but they'll also like, I'll be sitting here and they'll just sit on your lap, or like they'll like sleep on your chest or something, and I'm like, dude, what? This is like the cutest thing in the world.
You'll wake up and it'll just be on your face.
Yeah, dude, their butt's just like right here, and I'm like,
or like around your neck. Yeah.
And this cat specifically, the one I was just showing you, Chanel, she has a bad habit of eating my girlfriend's plants in the house. and then she'll just eat the leaves, and then she'll go throw up at like 1 a.m.
Awesome.
And I'm like, what the hell is your problem, man? And like, you know how with a dog you can like snap at it and be like, hey, don't do that. And it's like, oh, okay.
Cats
like
don't do that.
A cat, you have to like walk up to it and pick it up and like, stop eating that plant.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Cats are their own thing, man. They don't.
Yeah, dude. Like you can't call them over. You just have to.
They
do
could care
like,
less, bro.
Kind of thing.
You're just living in their world.
They think you're a cat.
Yeah. Well, they think you're less than them.
Yeah. They're like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Give me food.
Stupid
like
human.
Straight up, they were like, if I was larger, I would eat your face. Like,
basically. Well, they're not wrong.
Like straight up, she's like, dude,
straight up.
Like she's looking at me right now. Yeah.
What are big dogs? Weird. Just larger dogs. Big cats?
Yeah.
That's a lion.
Exactly. I've had that conversation with someone before. I think we were, puffing on the Zaza or something, and I was like, okay. In the grand scheme of species, who wins in a fight, a large cat or a large dog? The cat. Like 100%. A lion or a tiger would beat the shit out of like a wolf, or like
and bear, even then, like
maybe
it's not even.
I don't know if a bear's not a canine though.
No, it's not the same thing. Yeah.
But like a coyote or a wolf, like dude, a tiger would just.
A wolf is like the largest thing I think a dog would ever be. That I can think of. Now, listeners of the podcast,
please correct us. Yeah,
please.
We're gonna get the thing on Spotify that's like fact checking.
Exactly. But like, the largest thing I can think of is like a wolf, and like the largest cat I can think of is like a freaking mountain
Siberian,
lion.
Tiger or a mountain lion,
or something
a
lion, or something huge.
Literally rip your face off. Like,
in an instant, in a little, without even thinking,
without even like skipping a beat. So
yeah, exactly. That's just a normal Tuesday.
It's amazing though, because she's like this little cat will like follow you around and stuff, but like you go to pet her and she'll like, and you're like, what are you, what are you doing, man? She's like, what do you do? I go at my own pace. I come to you.
No, you don't. I like.
I'm the master.
Yeah, I like giving cats French accents. For some reason.
Oh yeah. No.
No, you do not touch me.
You do not. No. They're smoking like the long French cigarette. And stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, oh yeah. You do not touch me.
You silly American.
You silly American.
Touch me.
Oh my god. Yeah, they definitely. I think with the whole alien thing, I think aliens have been here the whole time, and there's house cats.
They're just cats. Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen Men in Black
100%.
too, bro. I know what's up. Everyone at the post office is an alien.
That's true. Everyone in the post office, everyone at the DMV.
Yeah, they all start like Will Smith starts, speaking like, and they start like rapping and beatboxing and shit. So.
Exactly. I haven't watched Men in Black in a really long time. All this alien stuff has made me want to watch it again.
Might have to go back. The first one's really good. The second one's really good. The third one's really good, but it's like sad. Like it has some plot.
Oh yeah, about to say, isn't that the one where they like get rid of all their memories and stuff, or he didn't have a
memory? Go back.
I don't remember.
They go back in time or something.
Yeah, there's some weird stuff. Yeah. I don't remember. I do remember the end of the first one. They get rid of his memory, and I was like, dang, yeah, that was solid.
And I think,
but then I know in the second one they bring it back or something.
They bring it back. But yeah, and it's just got some good. It's so funny because like. It's the reverse.
It's the reverse of the first one. They did the buddy cop reversal.
Right. Like Will Smith is like, yo, dude, you got to go. And then Tommy Lee Jones is like, I don't know who you are. And then he reminds him. And then they do the thing. And then my favorite line in that is whenever the bad guy or bad girl, I guess, Serlina, she's like taking over the headquarters. And then they run up, and the guy's just out there reading the newspaper, and he never says a line until he's just like, I'm glad. He's like, it's about time y'all showed up. That pretty lady's been raising all sorts of hell.
Yeah.
And I heard that as a kid, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to start saying that.
Yeah.
That seems like a fun thing to say.
Me and you, guy. Me and you.
me when my headquarters gets infiltrated by the villain.
By the villain of a movie. Yeah. Of an alien race.
Me reading my newspaper.
Yeah. But yeah, dude, I need to go back and watch some of that stuff. I've been missing out on movies lately. Have you been really digging into anything?
I saw Barbie.
Really. I missed it. I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen anything else.
I wanted to see it. I wanted to see Oppenheimer, and because mainly for the score. Because
is it Hans Zimmer?
No, Ludwig Göransson, who did. Trying to think the last thing. He did. Oh God, he's done so much stuff. I'm trying to think of the last thing that he did that like you would actually know. Because he does like a bunch of weird stuff too.
What's his name?
Ludwig Göransson. He did Tenet. He did Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. He did the first Black Panther. He did the 2 Creed reboots.
For some reason, I was thinking it was Hans Zimmer because Christopher Nolan movie.
So normally it is Hans Zimmer, and I was thinking it was going to be Hans Zimmer. And
it would match so well.
I love Hans Zimmer, but he did Dune, and the Dune soundtrack was awesome. Hans Zimmer did. Okay. It was so good. He also did it during COVID, which is also crazy. I'll have to send you. There's a podcast called Song Exploder, where this is one of the few like music related podcasts I actually listen to, because what they do is they get the stems and they talk with the producer and the artist about how they created a song, and then they go through the stems of the song and talk about like
that's
each
fun.
Stem. It's so sick.
It's called Song Exploder.
Yeah, it's so sick. I'll send you the episode that that Hans Zimmer was on, where he talked about one of the songs from Dune. He talks about scoring one of the songs from Dune, and it's just like the level of detail and like some of the weird stuff he does. He gets so crazy with like making a bunch of phone calls to friends.
That dude's a genius.
He's such.
I still love the fact that he did music in The Lion King, like the OG Lion King.
Oh yeah. He's awesome, dude. Like, and then he did the same guy that did The Lion King did Inception, and that's just a weird thing to think about. Yeah, exactly.
We were watching in our Discord the other night. I guess we were streaming. Nikki was streaming a movie, and we were having like a little mini movie night, and they were watching Interstellar. And Kyle Hales dropped. I love that movie. He dropped in, and he didn't have the stream up, but he was just talking in the Discord, and he was like, "Have they gotten to space yet? Have they done this yet? Have they said it's interstellar time yet?" And so we kept making jokes where it's like my favorite part of the movie is when he looks at the camera and says, "It's interstellar time."
That's amazing.
And then Ariane said something like, "Shrek, I'm looking down." And then like we just dropped like all the like, "He's right behind me, isn't he?"
Yeah.
Just all the silly shit.
That's so good. That's a good score too. That's a good Hans Zimmer.
It is? Okay.
Yeah, it's a great Hans Zimmer score. Yeah, that OST is on Spotify. You should definitely give it a listen. It's a very good listen, because you'll hear stuff in just like listening to the score where you're like, man, they really just went way too hard on this.
Yeah, they really
and
just like
it's a lot of like
they didn't have to do that.
It's a lot of like open spatial things, and like because it's in space, so it's a lot of like openness and like parts like sparse music and sounds and stuff. And the one I really like is the track from them doing the scene where they're driving through the cornfield in the very beginning.
Yes,
the song for that
hard.
The song for that is very, very cool.
I'm just gonna
a little more
original motion picture. Yeah, there you go. Mr.
Yeah, it's really sick. It's real sick. You basically just go through his Spotify and just listen to whatever. It's really awesome.
I have a whole playlist of just score music, and it's got a lot of it's the intense like stuff, but a lot of it is more the like like the like
the Harry
Pixar
Potters
stuff. Yeah, the Harry Potters and like It's the artist is the City of Prague Philharmonic Orchestra.
Nice.
And they are so good.
Yeah. They kill.
That's like my door dashing music.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like that.
That's
I'll listen
awesome.
to that, and then I'll listen to this playlist just called like Serotonin, and it's just a bunch of like, upbeat kind of songs that I made. I didn't make the songs, I made the playlist.
I'm trying to think. I think if I was doing DoorDash or like Uber or something like that, where I like probably some more like Uber where I had people in my car, I think I would just have like super chill lo-fi.
It'd either be that or like peace up, A-Town.
Yeah, exactly. It would either be like
and they're like,
hardest...
dude, I'm just trying to go to the gas station.
Yeah,
and you're like, I'm your Uber driver. Like, you're way too high.
Yeah, exactly. Either the hypest trap.
You want a water bottle?
Or the chillest lo-fi. There is no in between.
You got to be the guy that like don't talk at all. It just has the lo-fi on.
Yeah,
and then like. But it's all Drew on Spotify.
Yeah, exactly.
Lo-fi. And at the end you have like a QR code where it's like, go check out my shit.
Which I will say, that's gonna stop, and I'm moving that to an artist project soon.
Okay. Are you gonna rename it?
Yeah, I'm gonna rename it something.
Rebrand.
Yeah, and it's gonna be. I'll say it on here because it'll be years from now, and no one will probably be able to tie it back to me. So I'm moving it to a project called, I haven't named the project officially yet, but I'm naming the project. It's going to be a faceless project.
Okay.
So I'm not going to have technically any affiliation with it, but I already have like a good distribution with a label signed up for it and everything. So
that's dope.
Yeah.
Do you have any songs that go, you hypnotize me?
No, not quite that. Not
but
yet, it's going to be cool. It's going to be cool. My buddy, one of my friends has a faceless project called Sphinx.
That's a cool name.
Yeah. He's a drummer, and he played drums in some touring bands before. But he wears a mask now for this project. And it's like a cat mask. It's literally a Sphinx cat mask.
Dude, I love that shit, man.
But he's a drummer, and he does like the cross between like EDM, dubstep-y stuff, and like trance stuff, and like metal and rock.
Sick.
It's really cool. It's very, very cool. And he's kind of leading
like a Egyptian, like a Sphinx.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. He's got so he's been my buddy. We were in a band together like forever ago. He's been my buddy for a really, really long time. I try not to use his name too much. For obvious reasons, he tries not to have like the tie.
Don't want to dox the boy.
Exactly. But he's got a hairless cat.
Okay.
Like, so he like literally has a Sphinx cat.
That's sick. Okay.
Yeah.
On brand.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, exactly. He might have two by now. I'm not sure if they ended up getting another one. They were talking about it, but yeah, he's got one too. So you should check him out. He's actually really good. I produce a lot of his stuff for him. I don't mix it, but I ended up producing some really cool stuff. We did one recently.
It's just the artist.
Yeah, SFINX.
Ah, shit. Sorry, it's pulling up like different. Do you know what his picture is?
I don't know. SFINX.
Oh, SF. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. There we go. Okay, that looks more. Yeah. Okay. I see the cat mask. Yeah. Okay,
yeah.
I got you.
Most recently, the single is "I'm Not Enough."
It's got like the girl on the front. Like
with the mask split down her face. Yeah.
That's sick. I love this art, man. Like on that, and then like Gone and the other ones here. This looks cool.
Yeah, he's pretty cool with some stuff. But I've done so he does a thing where they'll produce out an EDM track essentially with the song in mind to find like a vocalist, and then he and I will go back and track. He tracks drums because he plays drums, and I go back and play like real guitars and real bass alongside the tracks to give it this like more live feel.
Right.
So I've done that for Hearts on Fire, I'm Not Enough, Lose Control, Status Quo.
Oh, Lose Control has your boy featured it on here too from Death Therapy.
Yeah, from Death Therapy, yeah. And then Status Quo, and then we did 2 covers. We had When You Were Young, the Killer song, and we had the dude from The Dangerous Summer do that song with us. And then we had a cover of Driver's License, where we had this girl from this Korean band do it, and it was really good. N-A-A-N, yeah.
That's dope. Yeah.
And then we had Dylan in a song too. Shout out Dylan
from Paris.
Yeah, he's in a song called Human Kidneys. Kill
Dylan. Okay. And
yeah, him, and Brendan from Hostile Array were on the same song together.
That's nuts.
It was really cool. It was a really cool song.
Yeah, I'm scrolling through. Yeah, that looks dope. I'll check it out.
Yeah, but we have some. I try to connect a lot of my friends to him because he just gets vocalists to do stuff. So I'll link him to you. See if you get the feature. Do the heirloom feature.
Yeah, man. I've had a couple people like, I don't really get hit up a lot for like features and stuff, but I'm just like, I don't know, man. Like I don't know what I want to do if I do stuff like scream, sing, whatever. I'm just like, okay, I'll just whatever the part is feeling.
Yeah,
so you know what I mean?
I would just say like, hey, what are you guys looking for?
Yeah, what do you want me to do? You know, like give me the line, or if you need me to write something. I don't really care.
What I would suggest doing is if it's like simple enough, if they're like wanting you to do a specific part, just have them like do a mock version for you,
and then just like do it over.
And you just do it over, yeah.
That's
or if they want you to. And just do that at a lower rate, and then if you're actually writing something, do it at like a slightly higher rate, and then you also get songwriting credit.
Exactly. Yeah. Put me on the BMI. I got my IPI number or whatever the fuck.
Your
secret special
songwriting. Your songwriting number. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Which you got a ton of those on our new album coming out. Which our album will already be out by the time this comes out. So I'm
very excited.
It's really sick. It's the best thing ever. Simmons wrote a lot of songs on there, a lot of riffs, and
literally me, Kevin, and Austin just trapped in a room for like 7 days.
And you wrote some like fire. Like,
dude, I was really happy with how Hive Mind came out.
Yeah.
And
I think that's the heaviest song that's
Hypervigilant.
I think Hive Mind, and then a song that'll be called In a Blink on the album, which was originally called
Jesus H. Laryl.
Jesus H.
The Christ
Laryl,
Prime.
Yeah, the Christ Prime. Yeah, that one.
Yeah. I named that one specifically for you.
That sounds like an Austin title.
That was a Scott title.
Okay. It was that, and then Hive Mind was Piccolo's Piccolo.
Yeah, Piccolo's Piccolo.
And then I was like, dude, I think these songs, or at least these parts, like the blast beats and then the really heavy like dun 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 at the very end of what's now going to be called In a Blink.
Yeah.
I was like, that's the heaviest shit that I think has ever been recorded at this studio.
Probably. I don't know. They did record some Left to Suffer songs there.
They did some Left to Suffer songs, but I mean, they sound great. But like in terms of the part, like there's no blast beats, man. I don't think West Valley has a lot of blast beats. Like they have, like In Flames has some blast beat parts, but I'm talking like the chunky shit too, like at the end of yeah.
Literally, we were in the studio that day. It was really funny. We were in the studio that day, and Kevin was like, "Yeah, Nikki's been really like wanting to work on her blast beats." And I was like, I was like, I don't know why you told me that, dude. Because I literally walked into the studio. I was like, I know what I'm going to write now. And I literally, you can ask Kevin this. I literally sat down at my computer and just started programming drums and said, all right, give me the guitar. And then took the guitar and said, here's the intro to the song. Yeah.
And then the after the first chorus, when it does the like, and it's just like super blasty, and then it opens up, and then I was like, and then it does the like Hive Mind. I remember when I came up with that, I was like, I just wrote some heavy ass like Alpha Wolf type shit.
Yeah.
Man. This is awesome.
Yeah, dude.
Like I was so proud of that.
Those songs ended up coming out really, really good. I'm really stoked, like, obviously for this to come out, but I know even me and Kevin are already like working on the next ones.
Working on, just that's how you got to be in this day and age. Just like
baby.
already keep it in the pocket, because what is now known as Romanticize was originally like almost a B-side from The Furthest Corner. So that is almost like a 2-year-old song.
Yeah.
And then to the public, it's not even a year old. And like these other songs, Suffer All the Same and everything, like those are almost 2 years old, and they're.
I'm gonna tell you, man, Suffer All the Same. That's your best song.
So I was gonna ask you.
That's your best song.
Like song as a song.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, I remember when we announced the album and you tweeted something, you were like, they wrote the best chorus or something. Were you talking about Suffer All the Same?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Shout out Travis Dark for helping on that one too. Cause he came up with the vocal melody, and he was like, can you hit that like high? And I was like, I'll try it. And then
I was stoked on how, like, cause it was very different. I was a little worried that like Kevin wasn't going to be down for it, but it turned into something really, really cool.
Well, I know, because Kevin wanted to write a ballad there too. So it's like, all right, let's write a ballad that builds and then builds to like this really heavy part. And then that's the end song on the album. And I've listened through like the Dropbox a bunch of times. And then by the time this comes out, we'll go listen to the album. Heirloom Romanticize, out now on all social media platforms, Spotify, Tidal, Apple.
Check the description if you want links.
Check the script. Yeah, check the description if link it up. You know where to find it.
Yeah.
But Suffer All the Same, the way it ends the album is just seamless. Like that album sounds so good. Like in terms of just like the writing and everything. So yeah, shout out obviously Andrew Simmons, Scott Siegel, fucking Travis Dark. Yeah, we great team, man.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm also excited for, you haven't heard it yet, but I've heard it, and it'll be out next week. So by next week as of recording, yes, dude.
Yeah. So by the time this comes out, Woe Is Me,
it'll already have been,
and
out.
It sounds great. I love it. It's the best thing ever.
When I tell you, Nolan, that Scott went goblin mode on this freaking Woe Is Me song.
The preview was heavy.
It's stupid. It's like I literally, Scott sent it to me and I listened to it and I said, Scott, how dare you assault my ears? How
fucking dare you, dude?
Yeah. It is the heaviest Woe Is Me has ever sounded.
That's dope.
And no contest. It is the heaviest that Woe Is Me has ever sounded. I mean, it is so good.
Just that clip alone, I was like, yeah, big agreed. Are they doing like a new album or new tour? What, do they have some behind the scenes?
I think Scott's just working on some songs with them. Right
okay,
now.
Gotcha.
I know they're doing. They're all super busy, so I don't know if like tour would be,
because I don't know. Like, I know they have an agent, but they also have like their email listed too.
So I think they really just kind of like want to do festivals.
Okay, because I'm like, you want to fucking
I think they just want to do festivals now. Small shows or like a small run of shows, because they're all located in Atlanta. So doing like a small,
it's like, hey, you want to do an
East run or something like that?
Yeah. I'm like, hey, buddy, you want to? I mean, what's up?
Yeah,
let's do some stuff. That'd be fun.
Hit him up. Hans is Hans is the homie, man. He's really awesome.
I've never met him. He seems really nice though.
He's great. He's a super kind dude. I mean, really all of them are. Michael's very, very kind. And they've all been very kind with their time and like just, talking, being open and willing to do stuff. And yeah, you should hit up Hans.
Okay.
Talk to him.
Yeah.
Even just to say like, what's up? I know Scott. Yeah. I'm friends with like literally all of the people you're friends with. Just wanted to say what's up and dig in the new stuff. And yeah,
I will copy and paste that exact what you just said and be
just
like,
hey. Yeah. Just do that. Be like, I'm in this band called Heirloom.
Hey, I swear I'm a cool guy. I'm not a punisher. I'm a nice guy. I'm a chill guy.
Scott wrote some. Just say like, yeah, Scott co-wrote some songs, and like Drew does co-writing and producing for us too. So
right.
Yeah, just reach out. Be like, what's up? He's awesome. He's like, him and Ian are really good friends too. So
Yeah. I remember Ian mentioning something about that too. The Atlanta scene, man. I need to get down there more. We need to play down there and just get connected more because it's solid.
Fun.
There's a lot of good talent and everything. I mean, obviously in the heavy world, you got like Left to Suffer and stuff too. But like, Manchester Orchestra is from there, and like All Get Out and like a bunch
there's
of.
a ton of bands that like nobody even knows about that are from there that I couldn't even name all of them because like the Dow Boys are also from there too. If you want to do heavy stuff,
and now they're like touring in Europe and stuff.
Yeah,
like, they're doing big shit.
If you want to talk like even less known than them, there's band like Stay Here. They're a really cool like indie band. There's
Michael Sarah Palin. Are they from there?
Michael Sarah Palin. They're from Atlanta. They're a cool indie band from there. They're awesome.
I love that name, man.
Yeah.
Any name like the Callous Dowboys or Michael Sarah Palin, and like I came up. Please, no one steal my fake band name, but I came up with a band name that could be like a mathcore band, and I want to call it Ellen the Generous Degenerate.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Nobody steal that.
That sounds like a song name for like Dance Gavin Dance.
Yeah. That or like Misdemeanor Elliot, like something stupid like that,
Yeah. And also shout out, like if I can't mention Atlanta without mentioning the homies in Microwave.
They slipped my mind too. I forgot they were from Atlanta.
Yeah, they're awesome. Shout out Tito and Nate.
I saw them in 2016 with the Wonder Years and Let Live.
What a show!
At Cat's Cradle.
They're sick.
That was fun.
Yeah, they're sick.
I think it might have been Microwave. I could be confusing them with someone else, but
Microwave's a killer live band. They're really, really good. And Nate's one of the greatest vocal guitar player combos I've ever seen. He's incredible.
It might be, now that I think about it, I might have been thinking of Tiny Moving Parts. It might have been that band.
It probably was Tiny Moving Parts. I think that's awesome. Who it was. So Microwave and Tiny Moving Parts also toured together.
Okay, so. I think I got them. Yeah, I got them confused.
For sure.
It's kind of like back in the early 2010s, late 2000s, when a lot of bands had the word hero in their name. Like a hero, a fake. My hero is me. Those are the only two I can think of, but you just like get a lot of those two confused, or like a lot of people think like Make Them Suffer and Left to Suffer. Like they'll get those confused as well.
Yeah, that's true.
I kept trying to make a joke last night, and I hate you weren't at the show, but I get it. I'll see you again. But I kept wanting to make a joke about being in harm's way. Like if I'm in your like, hey, like
bro,
you
if I would have been there, you would have been, because it would have been so many daggone people on that stage.
People. And that stage is so hot too, man. Like I freaking died.
Also, I just take up so much room, just like with keyboards and stuff on stage.
With your setup,
yeah, it's just so much room.
I don't think I've ever seen Harm play with every member.
Oh yeah, you weren't at because you had already moved to Charlotte. You weren't at the album show.
Yeah, I wasn't there.
Kevin was there.
Did everyone play it? Okay.
Yeah, everybody played that.
And that's a small stage too, 506.
Yeah, but whenever it was not backlined and like it was fully open.
Oh, and y'all had the headliner. Okay.
Yeah, we had enough. We had just enough space.
How was that show?
For it to be, it was really good. It was really good. Everybody killed it. All the it was basically just a big homie fest. Scott came down. Scott drove down.
That's dope.
It was awesome.
Did Ian do the slow up?
Yeah, he drove up. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, he drove up from Atlanta.
I did that part at the Emory show, and then last night, I wasn't trying to do it again, but Andy's mic kept like tilting, so I would go to like tilt it back up, and then when it got to that part, he just like moved out of the way and grabbed the mic and gave it to me, and I was like, all right, I guess I'm doing this part again.
You're the de facto guest vocal if you're in the crowd.
I listened to that song so many times the night before the Emory show that it's still in my on repeat on Spotify.
That's funny.
I listened to it so many times in a row that it just stays on my top, and that's been like
talking about you're obviously in the wrong place.
You're obviously in the wrong place, yeah. At the breakdown,
what a song, dude! Shouts to Andy for just writing his absolute tail off.
Yeah, dude, Andy's the goat, and I know he was worried about like before this album came out, you know, what's the future of the band, all this kind of stuff. You know, I've seen him post about that, and then just like, you know, you put it out, people listen to it, people dig it. And then you listen back to, you know, other bands that released killer records, and they all have this similar stories of like, yeah, we didn't know what was going to happen. And, you know, that's how Heirloom is right now. So, you know, you're nervous.
I told Andy, at best it'll pop off and do wonders for the band, and everybody will do really well from it, and it'll create a new era for the band, which that kind of seems like what is done. Mm-hmm. And I told him, even at worst, right? At worst, it'll be, I don't know how into weird underground post-hardcore bands you are, but it'll be Of Machines. It will be as if everything was held in place by Of Machines, which is a band that dropped one killer full length.
And that's helped, like all they did.
And that helped identify and give people like a new sound to push forward.
Agreed.
Into like a new era. And that's what I was like, at worst it'll be that.
It wasn't even super commercially successful, quote unquote, but it was very influential for songwriters.
Exactly. And I think the Harm album is like so vastly different that we'll have people find that record and love it, and it will inspire them to create their own version of that thing. That'll be a new wave of post-hardcore. I'm very confident in that.
I love and forgive me because I can't remember the song titles.
No, that's fine. They're a million years long.
Me and a million years long. Me and Kevin were both doing the like da 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 da, like the little like. I forget which song it is on a chorus. It has like the keys in it that I know you did, but I don't know what it was.
It's All My Life My Heart Has Yearned for a Thing I Cannot Name.
That, yeah. And the keys, yeah. Or something like that. Yeah. And so me and Kevin were both just doing the little, you know.
Yeah. You were me on side stage.
Yeah. Just doing the air keys.
Air keys, yeah. But yeah. So that song was forever ago. That song was like one of the first songs that we put out. Actually, it was the first song that we put out.
Oh, the first single?
For the record cycle, yeah.
Yeah, because y'all had some other like standoff singles that you did like over COVID.
Yeah, we had 3. We did one with Carson from the Dow Boys.
That was the iPhone one, right?
Yeah, we tracked. Yeah, it was called Atlanta 1984 or 1983 or something. Okay. And then we had one called. Our last song was our last song had a short title, but now we're back with a vengeance.
Yep.
And that one was like kind of a Anne Boleyn-y kind of song. And I really liked that song. I thought the song was honestly vastly underrated at how good it is.
Yeah, I think so too.
And then we have another song in that like span. It was the like third
pink
one.
Or purple like artwork, right?
So it was You're So Vain You Probably Didn't Think This Song Was About You, which is a chorus lyric from a
You're so vain. You're so vain.
You're so vain. You probably didn't know this song. What people are probably screaming at me right now, not knowing who this is.
I don't know
from.
it either.
It's from
like
Carly. It's Carly Simon.
Okay.
Like you would know the song. You would know the song if you heard it. It's like one of those. You probably
think this song is about.
Yeah, it's literally that song.
So vain. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, is that, but we just used it as a song title. So
yeah, perfect.
Yeah. So we call it Vain. And
like
that one was very like Paramore-y, like third album, Brand New Eyes Paramore. And we were just trying to figure out some like sound stuff then. So it was like we were trying some, because they had always done like Heavy and Under Oath. And I was like, let's take a bit to try some different stuff. So that's why we were like an Anne Boleyn kind of song, Paramore kind of song. Atlanta was like a counterparts kind of song.
Mhm.
So yeah, just kind of like trying some different stuff. And those ended up making Billy better at writing choruses, like true
Mhm.
choruses, which helped her write the rest of the record that came after it, because those choruses are very strong.
Yeah. The like just without the consequences, like
Yeah.
really, really strong. And then all the keys and everything. It's very coherent too. It sounds really good. And y'all have always had like a good, like, I'm the type of person too, ever since I was younger, like it's hard for me to listen to music if the cover art sucks.
Mhm.
So a lot of times if the cover art is good, maybe I'll think the album is better than it is. You know, it's like some psychology stuff too. So like 2021, Atreyu released an album and it's got the like blue and orange aesthetic. And I was like, this is the best thing I've ever heard. And then I go back and listen to it and I'm like, I mean, it was good. I was probably just super hype when it came out, but like y'all definitely have the cover art and the song like on lock. Like it's as a consumer, you know, like you want to listen to it and everything too.
Yeah.
So
that's Andy working for a design firm for years.
Amazing. Yeah, I forgot he does that as his
yeah, he does photo design. Now he works for Lowe's, like hard home improvement.
Oh, really?
He does the internal marketing. So like any kind of box or print design that goes into a Lowe's store. So like if you buy like a fan from Lowe's, like a box fan from Lowe's, and you know it comes in like the box.
Yeah.
He designs the whole box.
What's on there? Okay.
Yeah. And like any pictures or any kind of stuff that goes on it, he is in charge of designing all of that stuff.
That's a cool gig, man.
Yeah, he works from home. It's pretty sick.
I don't know why. Just like I think of Lowe's and immediately it's just like they got you doing the easy work out here. I just got off an 80-hour unpaid shift.
Yeah. He works from home in Greensboro. He doesn't have to live in Charlotte. So
that's dope. Yeah. I'm still getting used to Charlotte. Like in terms
a lot of traffic.
Well, where my girlfriend lives too is, to put in perspective, Beyonce played a mile from my apartment.
Oh, you live near the Motor Speedway.
I live I'm like uptown, like a
near
mile
Concord.
away. Yeah. No, not near Concord. Like we live in like uptown, like Noda area, like in Charlotte, like the interstate's like right out here.
Gotcha.
Like the Spectrum Center and the Bank of America and like Fillmore is like right up the road, and it's just really busy. So like try to do DoorDash, I have to go to like Concord or Huntersville or something, because like I just can't do it here. Like it's busy, don't get me wrong, but I just can't park anywhere. Yeah,
there's just nowhere to stop and get anything.
Yeah, I would have to have like someone else in the car driving, and then me go pick up the food.
Or
and
you
come
just
back.
straight up ignore all road traffic laws, throw on your hazards, and get out.
Throw the hazards, go down the one way is the wrong way, and just be like, I'm delivering food.
Like
I need to get something on my car to like whether I steal like a Domino's or a Papa John's or something, like I need to have something on my car that lets other drivers know the reason why I'm driving like I'm 90 years old right now is because I have a bunch of Chinese food in here and I don't want to spill it. So
that's probably, I can imagine that could get like a little weird when people are like, move out of the way. I'm like, I have so much food in here. You do not understand.
I have that and like the drink trays, which don't even work. And like, I have to move my own drinks out of the cup holder and like making do. And I'm like, I'm never going to Sonic again, man. Like, oh God. Yeah. Sonic wouldn't recommend for DoorDash. But yeah, it's fun.
That's fun.
It's fun when it works.
Well, dude, it's coming on into time for me.
I was gonna say, when did you want to cut it off here? We got a good one
coming on into time for me. It's just more of it's getting close to 11, and I gotta get up for church in the morning.
Oh, I feel that. Yeah, tomorrow's Sunday.
Yeah,
forget. Yeah, you and me, man. We the Christian boys. Even though I haven't been to church in a very, very long time, but one of these days
you should check out Elevation while you're in Charlotte.
I don't know if I want to do something that big though. I
just mean for the meme of it.
Oh, for the meme of it? Yeah. And you know what? Yeah, you're right.
So like it's like I don't even vibe like that, but when I was in Houston, I went to Joel Osteen's church because
you're there.
Yeah, when I'm there, it's like I want to know what this experience is like.
Yeah, and then you're like, dang, that coffee is really good. I'm gonna start coming back here. Y'all have some really
No,
good donuts.
I literally walked in and it's just like mostly book signing area for him. It's very funny.
Yeah, it's like a celebrity meet and
It's
greet kind
funny.
of thing.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
funny. But yeah, no, you should go check out like some churches. I got some friends in Charlotte if you're actually legitimately looking for an actual church.
My buddy who lives here, he has one that's based out of Statesville that I'm actually going to try to make it to. But the cool thing that they do is they don't do it on Sunday mornings. They do it on like Thursday nights and Saturday nights and stuff.
It's probably better for your schedule too.
Exactly. Yeah. And then my buddy in Greensboro, he has a church that meets traditional time, but I can just like, it's just so inconvenient. I have to like make a whole like day out of it and everything.
Yeah,
but,
that's an hour and a half drive or something.
right.
So,
And like church starts at 10:30, you know what I mean? So
yeah. No, there's plenty. You're in Charlotte. There's plenty of places to go.
Yeah.
But you should go to Elevation just so like you can know what it's like.
I might actually, because I've never been. So I've
you should
been
go to the main campus.
I've been to a lot of like Elevation ripoff type churches, you know what I mean, that try to like do the same kind of vibe.
Yeah.
I've been to so many of those, like a lot of churches growing up. But yeah, all right, that's a good idea.
Yeah, you should go to. It's in Ballantyne.
Okay, main campus.
Yeah,
Sick.
Yeah, you should go there. Just like I said, I've been there a couple times just to like know what it's like to experience that large of a place, and it's just funny. It's just funny. It's just perspective. You know, it helps see perspective. And for me, who like doesn't go to that kind of stuff, it's like, yeah, you guys are spending a lot of money on a bunch of unnecessary things.
Yeah, like maybe you don't need that projector, you know?
Yeah. Or I mean, they're not using projectors. It's like maybe you don't need the 6th LED wall.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
there's some homeless people outside, you know? Like
yeah. There's plenty of them. You do live in Charlotte.
Oh yeah, there's like a bunch of homeless people. Like our right around where we live, it's a lot of people walking around and stuff too.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, dude.
Well, thanks for having me on.
Thanks for having me on. This was I kind of stepped back from the host role on this one and kind of let you kind of lead the way pretty much.
We kind of took back and forth on it a little bit.
I definitely wanted, because the whole reason in the beginning is, you know, you were the reason why I wanted to get, you know, ask questions about the podcast, and you know, you gave me the Riverside recommendation and everything. Shout out Riverside, shout out Spotify for podcasters. But yeah, so cool. Just to get out of the way, like I'm the type, like as soon as we get off this call, I'm gonna be like, all right, next, who wants to talk? You know what I mean? Like, keep lining them up, you know? So I'm stoked, man. But
thank you, Nolan, for coming on the podcast and then doing this cool crossover episode with me. Kind of spread love for everybody on both shows. Go follow him at Nolander on Instagram, at Nolanding Podcast on Instagram. And if you're interested in their music, check out his band Heirloom at Who Is Heirloom on all socials. Their new album Romanticize is out now. It's been out for a couple weeks at this point, and it's doing really, really well. So go check them out on Spotify, Apple Music, or YouTube. They shot a really cool music video for a couple of their songs. So go check that out. As far as Home Studio Hangout people, subscribe. Check out the subscription that I added to not have ads. That is just $1 per month to get rid of the ads that play on the audio versions of the podcast. So check the link in the description for that. And we will see you next week.